Welcome to Reels on the Rocks, the show where your hosts Whiskey and Sweet Tea discuss film from the unpretentious perspective. Tonight we close out the season with our 2025 film countdown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, drink responsibly, and as always, please be advised that spoilers may be ahead.
Welcome back, dear listeners, and I think there's quite a few newbies in the audience. This is the episode where T and I punish our bodies, all in the name of a fun little game so that we can kind of review all the movies that we saw this year. Although, this past year, we both have Letterboxd, so if you want more accurate kind of scores, at least from me, you can see it over there, and you can also see reviews written that I wrote when I wasn't wasted. So there's that. Rules of the game. I say this every year, but just to reiterate, T and I are playing against each other. You are allowed to play with us. The idea is that if you have seen the same movie as me or T, you take a drink. It's that simple. Only people who are over the age of 21 can play. We can't enforce that, but, we're not going to advocate for underage drinking. If the room starts spinning or you feel like you're going to puke, please stop.
Obviously, please drink responsibly. Please drink responsibly, people.
Yes. And this is meant to be a friendly game. If T and I are feeling that way as well, we will also stop, because as funny as it is, probably not going to be a great show if we have to keep running to the bathroom.
Yes.
So penalty shots. Whoever doesn't get, so the first person to get to 20 movies for the year, the other has to take a penalty shot. Second year in a row, it's been T.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do that, and then we'll get right into the list.
All right, my penalty drink. Here we go. Sweet and juicy. Cool.
That's actually, what are you drinking, T?
Okay.
I'm just doing some bullet bourbon on the rocks in my Ken glass.
So I was gonna do my sweet tea flavored bourbon, but I'm like 98% sure we're gonna be drinking a lot for this. So I opted for, I went out.
That's why mine's on the rocks.
Right?
I'm not doing shots. I'm doing mouthfuls of whiskey on the rocks because there's some water in there. And
narrow it down. So I went out and I got a new bottle of Moscato that I will be taking. I will be doing shots of Moscato because it's low alcohol. But obviously, again, drink responsibly. Please pick your beverages responsibly. We are professionals doing this 5 years in a row. Not really, but allegedly professionals. But ready to get into it. So you got your bourbon. I got my Moscato. We are good to go.
Yes, and after your penalty shots, my first movie, I have a feeling we'll both be drinking on this one, is Paddington in Peru.
Yes! Okay, hang on, drink.
Okay, drink.
Okay.
All right, this for me is the Dark Knight Rises of the Paddington trilogy. It's still really good, but there's some weird stuff. First of all, Mrs. Brown was recast. I have a feeling I know why, that we'll get into later on. So that was just odd. The woman who plays Mrs. Brown did a fine job. It's neat to take Paddington out of London, as the title implies. They're in Peru, because Aunt Lucy's missing, and so Paddington and the whole Brown family go in search of her. And it was good. Again, like I wouldn't say that this is, greatest film of all time like Paddington 2.
Right.
But it's got the same sense of humor. It's very cute. You get to learn a little bit more about where Paddington came from. The villains are funny. Like, one thing about all three Paddington movies, kind of got into them from the show because we reviewed Paddington 2 for the meme. But now that I've seen the whole trilogy, like, very solid. If I had kids, that that'd be something that they watch. But I love the humor. Like, one thing we have talked about is how kids' movies are often dumbed down. And I really appreciate when, like, the jokes are witty. Like
Yes.
they're family
Yes.
friendly, but they're still like one thing that I still pops into my head. There's a joke where it's like, "Ooh, the Lord works in suspicious ways, isn't it? Mysterious ways." Like just funny things like that. So anyway, I gave it a 3 out of 4. And if you're new to the show, we review out of 4 because we are making fun of Siskel and Ebert. So I gave it a 3 out of 4. What about you, T?
I gave it a 2.75 out of 4. The reason I did this is because, it's so hard to live up to Paddington 2, which really is. Like, without Paddington 2, this would have been a 3. But just because it's living up to Paddington 2, again, still a lot there. Still lots of good messaging, deep messaging, societal discussions. Love all that. That's what Paddington series is known about. But for me, it's going to be a 2.75.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, so second up for me at least is The Monkey.
The Monkey. No, I did not see that.
Really? I remember you said you saw like 2 Osgood Perkins movies and you weren't into them, so I thought maybe you had seen this year.
What was the other one I watched? I don't know.
Well, we saw Longlegs at the beginning of last year because... So we saw Longlegs, so I don't know what the other one you saw was. But anyway, The Monkey. Osgood went goblin mode last year and did 2 movies instead of 1.
Yes.
And I never would have expected that I would say The Monkey is the better of the 2. It's not like it's a horror comedy, but it leans on the comedy. I remember when I told you I went to see this, you sent me like the Penguin Zero video, and he seemed a little like annoyed by it. I get this, so just like scares, humor is subjective. This movie has one joke, and if you don't find it funny, like you're probably not going to find the whole movie funny. Mm-hmm. But just the absurd, over the top deaths in this just get so hard to not laugh at. Like it just like what's coming, and then it comes, and it's just so ridiculous. The thing that I thought was surprising about it was that there's actually a very like nice kind of message about dealing with grief. There's one death in the entire movie that is not funny. It is very sad, and it is like the whole emotional base for the movie. And it's really good. But yeah, like the monkey doesn't even need to really be in the movie. Apparently the story that this is based off of is one of Stephen King's worst. So a lot of the stuff in the movie was just, Osgood adding on top of it. And I do believe he wrote it as well. But it is a silly movie. As long as, like, ridiculous amounts of gore does not bother you, like, it should be fun. Like, this is Evil Dead 2 humor, for the most part. Like, it's so ridiculous, the level of gore. It's like, a pool is electrified, and a woman jumps in it, and she explodes. Like, that's the level of gore we're talking about. So it's not meant to be scary. It's meant to be funny more than anything. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was very entertaining. So I'm giving it a 3 out of 4.
Fabulous. On to the next.
And I'll let you introduce this one.
Okay. All right. So I don't think you saw this one. Love Hurts.
No, oh man, Blast from the Past though. I remember this looked good. I think I just missed it.
So it got like negative. Okay, so basically it got negative. This guy was a real estate. Again, I saw it at the beginning of the year, so let me just try to remember this. Guy is a real estate agent. Somehow, I forget how, he gets re-involved with his past, if I remember correctly, and it involves like action-y stuff. Wasn't the greatest. Yes, I know, that's like the most vaguest description ever.
No, I remember though. It's Ki Hoi Kwan's in it, so we got Short Round doing his action thing, which very, very happy he still has quite a strong career, which we'll get to again later on in this. But no, I remember this one. This looked really good. I just didn't get around to seeing it, but continue.
So it did not get good reviews. I thought personally, I just am not super into like action movies. There has to be some sort of thing that I grab onto. Swimming to action movie with this one didn't. I gave it a 1 out of 4. I thought it was serviceable, but it's not one I'm going to go back to.
Man, that's like a low score for like
I wrote this.
I feel like 1 is like you don't like it.
Okay, then I will adjust this because I also wrote this right after I saw the movie in my thingamajig. So, but again, this was like almost a year ago at this point. So I'm just like, was there something that bothered me? I'm gonna up it to a 2 because I just remember it being serviceable, but nothing to write home about. That's what my a year later takeaway from it was.
This is why I don't, at least for this show, I don't write my score down until, like, today, for instance. I did it while I was doing laundry. So, like, it's fresh in my mind, because my scores can change over time, too. Like, I might be like, oh, this movie's not that great, and then, like, over time, I might think more fondly of it, so... Like, that's the other thing with Letterboxd. With me, especially right now, because I don't like things to, like, build up on Letterboxd, I will review those immediately, pretty much. Yeah. So if you want, like, my first thoughts of the film, that's Letterboxd. But for this episode, I always, like, rate the movies right before we record. So my next one, I don't think you saw either, is Mickey 17.
No, oh, wait, that's... Why is that... Oh, that was that follow-up to the Parasite guy, right?
Yep, okay. Yep. So this is his blank check movie. It's, after, winning Best Picture, Best Director, it's very interesting to see what directors will do because, like, a perfect example, she didn't win any awards, but it's really interesting to see that Greta Gerwig is doing Narnia.
Yes.
Like, after Barbie, it's like, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to remake the Narnia movies. So I'm very interested to see what she does with those. And this is very much a him kind of movie. So Mickey 17, it's a science fiction movie. Basic premise, dystopian future, incredibly dark. This is actually one of the most disturbing movies I saw this year. It does not hold back with like the violence or just like the idea. But basically, there's technology in the future that they can like get your DNA and basically like reprint you every time you die, but it's not pleasant, it's not perfect, so you could come back like horribly mutated or something. And you're not really the same person as we see, but basically Mickey is on the run from the mob. They are going to cut him up with a chainsaw live if he doesn't give them money that he can't give them. So in an act of desperation, he joins a colony going into space run by a narcissistic, failed politician who is definitely based on Donald Trump, but he can't... The only way he can get on the ship is to basically apply to be their guinea pig. So
Hey, we don't use that term. You say test subject.
Test subject. Oh, fine. Lab rat.
Go on.
So he, anytime he dies, they just print out a new one of him. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much like the premise that gets you into it. But later on, there's more to the story that I'm not going to spoil. That's the other thing with this show. We don't get into the stories with this episode because we don't want to spoil the movie. It turns out the movie is just like a really, really good Star Trek episode. So if you're looking for like spectacle or anything like that, you're not really going to get it. There's some special effects, some CGI. But the thing about this director that was very much on display with Parasite is he's very political and very like, social commentary is like kind of the centerpiece of his films, whether it's The Host, whether it's Snowpiercer, like politics is a big deal. So that's the kind of movie this is. It's very violent. It's very, like I said, just the core concept is really disturbing, and like the gangster guy that's chasing Mickey down is really... I thought it was like something out of Hostel or something, despite it being kind of a goofy kind of movie. I thought that was like very...
Well, the big question is...
Scary?
Do you think he used his blank check wisely?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a good movie. I think, and I'm pretty sure it's streaming anywhere. If anyone missed it, this is a 3.5. It's almost perfect for me. Like, I'd say it's one of the best movies I saw this year, but I get why it's not going to draw a big crowd, because it's not particularly a fun movie. It's not particularly, a feel-good movie, but it is a neat science fiction premise. It's based on a book, and if you like this director's films, you're probably going to like this one just fine, because a lot of his other movies are also very disturbing. There's Okja on Netflix is another one that's kind of like a vegan movie, and there's a very nasty scene in a slaughterhouse near the end of that film. So if you've seen one of his films, and I can't believe I'm blanking on his name in the middle of the show, but
Bong
the
Joon-ho.
Parasite director, Bong Joon-ho, thank you. There's another Korean director who just made a film, and his name is in my head right now.
You're like, it's not the same person. Yeah, not you.
It's not the same him. No, so if you've seen one of his movies, and you like his other stuff, you'll like this one just fine. I think it's going to be looked more fondly in the future, and I think streaming-wise, more people... In fact, I think it was kind of a big hit on Netflix a few months ago when it came to streaming, so... We'll see how it goes, but I liked it quite a bit.
Awesome. So next up, I have The Wedding Banquet.
Ooh, I did not see this one.
I tried to get you to see. So this one is a really fun movie. It's actually a remake of a foreign film from about 1993, or basically the 90s. I don't know if 93 is even the right year. Essentially, basic premise is that this guy... This Asian, well, in this one, it's this Asian American, and he lives with his boyfriend. He's not out to his family. He's like an inheritor of this massive corporation or something, and he's about to lose his green card, but he wants to stay here, not go back to, I believe in this case, it's Taiwan. And then he and his boyfriend have are friends with this lesbian couple, and they want to have IVF, but they can't afford to do IVF again. So he's like, hey, if one of you marries me, I will pay for your IVF. And then it's just kind of the absurdity of them having to put on this front of, this massive, ceremony, and again, the wedding banquet. It's really kind of fun. It's actually, it was perceived, it was advertised as funny, more funny than it was. It was still funny, but somebody pointed out in the line, all the funny bits were in the preview. It has a lot more emotional depth than the trailer lets on. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I gave it a 3 out of 4. Enjoyable. Would definitely go back.
Nice. All right, I know for a fact we're drinking on this one. Next for me is Death of a Unicorn.
Yep. All right.
Drink.
Okay.
I'll let you start off with this one. I don't have too much to say about it, but what did you think of it?
So, Death of a Unicorn, basic premise is this dad is working with these high-powered people. I think he's like a risk assessor for them or something, or insurance or something like that. And with him and he takes his daughter up there because they like families. They're going up to this remote billionaire's cabin to go and do business, and they hit a unicorn. And it's not dead yet. He actually ends up beating its head in mercifully. But it's on a nature reserve. They're all freaked out about it. Anyway, they get there, find out it's still alive, and then they also find out that it has magical powers, and then capitalistic greed takes in. And that's the basic premise of them, and then they're hunted because you don't kill a unicorn for your own benefit. I wanted to like this, and I just didn't. I don't know what it was about this, because there was nothing I thought technically wrong with it. Something about, I don't know, it just didn't. I will say the CGI was really bad in it. I hated the CGI in this movie. And
it's very mid.
It's very
it's
very mid.
It has a
go ahead.
It has a great premise, and then it doesn't do anything. Because if I told you, hey, want to see a movie where like a dad and daughter accidentally hit a unicorn with their car, that's a funny idea.
Yeah.
And you could go a lot of different directions with it. But this goes in the most like cut and dry, like, ooh, a pharmaceutical company wants to use the magical healing powers of the unicorn. Like, you can kind of, once you see where the movie's going, like, we're not going to spoil it, but I think you could kind of predict where it is going to go. So it was kind of lackluster as far as content goes. What I do like about it is the creature design. I thought was great. They're like practical dolls, corpse, whatever. Like the non CGI unicorn when they're like touching it and stuff looks really good.
It had an air of realism
I don't
to
know.
it.
So I don't know if you know this, but like, so years ago, my sister and I, because my sister really loves unicorns, and at one point we were kind of like, what fairy tale, like, because the film she really liked growing up was The Last Unicorn, which is a book, but we're kind of like, I mean, it's this fantasy animal that's in, you know, everyone knows what a unicorn is the same way everyone knows what a dragon is, so we were like, well, where does it come from? Like, what is the original, like, myth or story or whatever?
It's the national animal of Scotland.
Ooh, so I guess that's where it comes from. But so we looked it up, and pretty much like this is kind of a pretty accurate retelling of like the unicorn myth. Basically, and it comes from Harry Potter as well, like unicorns, their blood can heal you.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, they can heal you, like body parts or whatever. But one thing that is usually kept out of, you know, My Little Pony and everything is that they are very violent.
Yeah.
So, like, basically the myth is like, you know, they used to hunt unicorns, but like they'd stab you with their horn and whatever. It's like a simplistic myth. I think it basically ends like they all get killed by the unicorn or whatever. But it's like, I remember looking that up with my sister, and it's like, oh wow, they're actually kind of like a scary creature compared to like the way they're depicted nowadays. Like they're almost like a dragon or, you know, a monster or something like that. They look really pretty, but they're very, very you know, protective of themselves and stuff, and they'll get you. So that was something I thought was kind of neat with the movie, was that it I think a lot of people probably were like, oh, that's such a weird idea, a unicorn horror movie, but it's like, actually it's kind of the most accurate like retelling of the original myth. So I thought that was neat.
I just feel like,
but it's a 2 out of 4. Yeah.
I just feel like it should have been darker.
Yeah.
It was too goofy. It played too much in a goofy tone, and I was like, it should. And I usually don't like dark movies. I'm like, I would have enjoyed this being darker.
Right. I think it needed to pick a lane, because I know what you mean. Like the premise, again, if I explain that to somebody, they're gonna think it's a comedy.
Well, it has.
You know,
isn't Paul Rudd in this too? Isn't he the dad?
Yeah.
So like that didn't like exactly elevate the dark horror-y elements to it. You just think Paul Rudd, you think comedy.
He's been producing some interesting stuff this year. There's one thing I'll get into later. But yeah, like that's pretty much the most I can say about it. It's fine. If it was like on Amazon Prime or something, and I want, you know, like I might pop it in just to like kill time or something, but it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really memorable or like that good. So it's like a 2 out of 4 for me.
I gave it a 1 out of 4. I was just kind of just upset with the CGI designs of it. Also, I don't know what it is. I have this thing just against Jenna Ortega, Mia Goth, and the other one. I don't know. Their faces weird me out, and I don't know what that's about. That's a me problem, though. That sounds...
I know what you mean about Mia Goth. I think she's a good actress, but I know what you mean about her face. Jenna Ortega, she is very pretty, and she is very... I like her personality in interviews. She is feisty, but she's not... I don't know. Like, there's some types of people that like are very full of themselves, and I like she doesn't seem to have an ego.
Well, I guess my other thing with Jenna Ortega was the fact that she admitted, she's like, yeah, I went to set knowing I had COVID when she was filming Wednesday.
Yeah, that bothered me,
me,
but my God, some of the stuff, like, I don't know if you heard about Jeremy Renner threatening to call ICE on a co-star.
That was,
there's like,
I mean, again,
there's new lows now where I'm...
There's worse stuff out there, but I just remember being like, girl, I am like struggling to get through my day every day with this stuff, and you couldn't be bothered to follow protocol. Got it.
I know.
Anyway,
I feel you. I think the ladies from Once Upon, like not Sydney Sweeney, but the other ones from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they're kind of the come-ups. But anyway, yeah, Death of a Unicorn. Okay, I think it's your turn to list the next one.
So I know I'm gonna have a bit of a skip here in period of time. But I do think you're going to cover one that I will double back to because I saw it like 2 months later. Bring Her Back.
Ooh, oh boy.
So,
I'll let you go ahead. I've got a lot to say about this one as well.
Okay. So from what I remember, this woman wants to bring her dead daughter back to life. And I forget why she needs the other 2 children to do it. That she gets from foster care. But she brings them in.
So basically, it's kind of... There's a reason that she needs the girl. She does not want the boy. And I can't explain why, because that's like a late movie reveal as to why.
That's right. Oh, I remember. Okay, yeah, she does need the girl. She needs the girl. And they kind of come as a package deal.
Yes. Well, like, yeah, he's not a legal adult yet, and he's kind of protective of his sister because she's blind.
Yeah.
Which, that's a whole element to it as well.
Well, this had some...
But I mean, the premise is in the title.
Yeah.
This woman wants to bring her daughter back, but she has to, let's say, make a pretty terrible sacrifice to make it happen.
Right. And... So, we had Sally Hawkins as the lead in this movie. We talked about her. She was missing from Paddington 3.
I think she was making this, and so
actually,
she had to...
What I read is she does have health issues that prevent her from, like, traveling to certain countries. And so she couldn't go. That's what I read was the reason is she has, and I forget, I don't want to say what it is because I'm not 100% sure if I remember what it was, but that's why she couldn't do Paddington 3.
That's interesting. Yeah, I assumed it was this. Once I saw her in this movie, I was like, "Oh, that's where she was." Well, like, so yeah, we're not going to spoil it. This movie is a lot. So any of you who listen to the show know I'm the horror guy. This was probably like another one of the most disturbing movies.
Which when I told you that I saw it, you were like, "How? How did you sit through this?" And I'm like, "It's easy. I knew what to look for, and I knew when to look away."
Big content warning for gore. And the gore isn't even what bothered me so much, is like just this is not a feel-good movie. Like the directors are a pair of twins who are YouTubers, and I was singing the praises of their film Bring Her Back a year or 2 ago. That movie also has some,
you mean the other movie?
Emotional stuff. It's more fun than this one. Nothing that disturbing happens in that one compared to this one. There is there is some gore, there is some death and stuff, but the cruelty, like the gore is one thing. There's a scene everybody knows about at this point, which is the thing that like T had to look up to even be able to sit through this. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but I mentioned like a sacrifice. This movie will make you feel like you have a knot in your stomach by the end, just with how horribly sad it is, and like so many characters die, and thankfully it does not have like a horribly tragic ending.
It's not a great ending. Like I wouldn't say anyone's
it's not a great ending, but it could have been a lot.
It could have been worse, yeah.
So, yeah, really big, round of applause for Sally Hawkins, and also, oh my god, I didn't write his name down. The little boy in this who's, like, possessed by some kind of entity. Excellent job. Like, my god, crazy good acting. And even from the 2 main characters, I don't know if the little girl is actually blind, but if she isn't, she really makes me think that she was. So, I despite everything I just said, it is a good movie. Just go into it knowing that it is not going to make you feel good, and it is genuinely scary. This is not like a horror movie like Friday the 13th or something that you'll be laughing at, or like Evil Dead 2. Like, this is genuinely scary, genuinely upsetting, and the most like disturbing aspects of it have roots in real life, like the foster system and stuff like that. Like, it is a genuinely upsetting movie, but that's what it's doing. So, really great job. 3 out of 4 for me.
Awesome. Okay, on to you.
What'd you give it?
Oh, sorry. I gave it back a 2. I'm like, kids, and again,
Fair enough.
I'm just not the audience for this. It is probably a good horror film. Like you talked about, it has all the stuff in it. That's what makes a horror film great. I will never rewatch.
That's kind of where I'm at with it too. Unless someone just really wants to watch it, I'm probably not going to like really be like, you know what I feel like watching tonight.
Right.
Bring her back. Like, no, it's like a good movie, but it's not one that you're probably going to watch for fun or anything.
Exactly.
But that's a great lead in to my next one. Sinners. Drink. All right, this one was almost my movie of the year. For like half of the year, it was my favorite movie. And I'm guessing most of you have seen it already.
I think the entire planet has seen it.
This is, one of the biggest box office smashes. Globally, it didn't, it's not cracking the top 10, but at least domestically, it did super well. And it's what, again, all of you know, if you don't, I guess I can't really, the trailer spoils the vampires, but basically, it's kind of a period drama that turns into like sort of a horror movie. It's not very scary, at least not to me.
No, it wasn't scary. I wouldn't say it's scary.
It's like I've mentioned like popcorn horror. It's kind of in that category, but it's also sort of a jukebox musical. Like this, I'm calling this now. I'm very excited for when they adapt Sinners for Broadway.
Oh yeah,
and make
this
it a
should
full-on
be an
musical.
Amazing musical. I could totally see that.
But it's really fun. Great special effects. If you're not a horror person, I can recommend it to you because for at least like 90 minutes, there is nothing really scary going on. And then the very end of the movie, it becomes a vampire movie. But amazing performance by Michael B. Jordan as well. He's playing twins, and he does it well enough that you can tell which twin he is just by the physicality of his performance.
And the mannerisms too, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and this, I'm predicting this is going to be up for a bunch of Oscars. It already, believe, took home some Golden Globes.
Oh, see, you've been out of the press loop. There's been some uproar over the fact that it hasn't taken home enough awards.
Okay, yeah, so full disclosure, I forgot the Golden Globes were on last weekend, so I didn't watch them, haven't looked up the awards yet, but I know it was nominated for a lot of things.
It was,
so I guess
yeah.
it didn't take home. But I think, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, the Globes and the Oscars are very different. Ones that win big at the Globes usually don't win at the Oscars and end up, the vice versa. So we'll see how it does at the Oscars. I'm predicting it's at least going to get nominated for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, almost perfect. The one thing I will say that bugs me, if anyone watches Rick and Morty, there was like in season 1 kind of a joke bit where Morty is like being forced to read this person's screenplay, and then like they ask what he thinks, and he talks about how he hates when movies start off with like a scene and then it goes to like 1 week ago or whatever. I kind of agree with Morty. And it's the one flaw with Sinners. Like, it annoys me that it starts off with, the one character that, like, survived the big vampire attack, and then it, like, flashes back to the day before. It's like, what was the point of that? Like, I know everyone knows that there's vampires in the movie because it was all over the advertising, but I feel like it's, like, pointless, and now it also kind of deflates, like, now we know that he survived. So there's no suspense as far as, is he going to make it? Is he not?
Yeah.
It's the only flaw. Otherwise, I would actually argue this is a perfect movie, but I just don't like it starting that way. There's like this cool animated kind of, folktale thing at the beginning. I think it should have gone from that right into our main character picking cotton in the early hours, and then it would have been a perfect movie. But 3.5 out of 4 for me. Otherwise, it's my second favorite film of the year for sure. What did you think though, T?
So, I wasn't as much of a fan of this as everybody else is. However, I will say Michael B. Jordan acted his ass off in this movie, and that needs to be recognized. I think Ryan Coogler is an incredible director. He did some good stuff here. I am just, oh, and I hate this. I am not the audience for this movie. I feel so bad because this is like everybody's like favorite of this year. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to see that again. Like Smoke and Stack, believe that's the name if I remember correctly. They're iconic characters. They are going to be iconic characters. I just didn't like them as people. And that's a me problem. And you know me, it's like for me to, this is a problem I have, for me to fully engage in and be, there has to be something about your characters or the ones that I'm following that I like. And I didn't really like either of them. So that's
enough.
A me problem though. I did really though enjoy, the music sequences. That sequence though, okay, I can't even talk about that sequence yet because that's a surprise. The music sequences are really good. That one scene with the music, you know what I'm talking about, was amazing.
Oh, everyone knows.
Was incredible. Yeah. That was amazing, show-stopping. But yeah, so I just wasn't as jazzed as everybody else. But here, the difference here is I can see the merits that people are talking about: the acting, the writing, the music. It's all very, very good. But for me personally, it's a serviceable film. And I gave it a 2 out of 4.
If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But, you know, credit where credit's due.
Well, yeah, Ryan Coogler's talking about he wants to do something with the X-Files too, so I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah. No, I've been seeing more and more about that. I think it's coming out this year. Maybe it's next year, but he's like working on it now, so that should be coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
But I think it's your turn.
Onto a movie I know you definitely did not see, A Nice Indian Boy.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you were telling me about this. I didn't get around to seeing it.
So there were quite a few queer films this year, or queerity in film this year, which is actually pretty cool. This one I was super excited to see. Kind of disappointed by. Basic premise is a nice Indian boy. He's out and about. He's lonely. He's trying to find his perfect person. He finds his perfect person. Then they have some problems because he has issues. The Indian guy has issues with his own family. Like they've never fully like really accepted him, sort of. Or at least that's what I'm remembering. And so it's kind of just like, it's a rom-com though. This back and forth between, his partner and then him, and will they get married, all that fun stuff. I was just kind of just left very meh by it, like especially after like a wedding banquet. I was just like, it's okay. It's not a bad movie, but it's like not one that's jumping to the top for me to be like in my rom-com pull-out repertoire, which I was very excited with it being a minority-focused rom-com that's LGBT. So I gave it a 2 out of 4.
Glad I didn't miss anything.
Well, you always seem to pick up on more than I do. I'm very dense when it comes to stuff a lot of times. So you probably would have been
maybe. I mean, like
the mise-en-scene was so good. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, maybe I'd feel that way. Was it kind of hailed by critics or something?
It was. It really didn't get much critical discussion because it was an indie film release.
Okay.
And so, like, people that did see it, they did enjoy it. But the main guy, because you're watching. Have you started Pluribus yet?
No. So
the main guy is in the first few scenes of the opening of Pluribus. So I recognize.
Okay, gotcha. Now, for Apple, the news said that they're coming out with a free version, and I'm going to go with that. Whenever that comes out, that's when I'll be like, whatever, I'll just watch ads or whatever. So whenever that happens, then I'll get on Pluribus. But no, I have not seen it. Oh, here's one. I bet we're going to drink on this one. Minecraft movie.
Oh my god. Drink.
Oh boy.
I can't. You know what's wild is I don't even remember telling you I don't even remember what this movie's even about. Besides Minecraft and Chicken Jockey, I know. I have the ticket stub to prove I was there, and I could not tell you what the plot line was.
Well, so the reason you feel that way, T, is this is the most cut and dry, exactly what you would think it was going to be. If it's like, a year ago before it came out, it's like, oh, what's the Minecraft movie going to be about? Oh, I don't know. Some kids find a portal into some some wacky world where they've got to save it, and
basically Mario.
The rules are basically, a lot of things. But that doesn't make it bad. I'm not going to hate on this. I'm going to hate on the way people acted when it came out. I really hated the death of theater etiquette. But this is fine. It's not my kind of movie, but again, if I had kids and they really wanted to see it, I was not offended by any of this. And my God, that chicken, Steve's lava chicken, I want to eat that so badly. That is some of the best looking movie food I've seen in a while, and I was impressed how they made it look really square.
Binging with Babish, lava chicken.
Yes. Oh man. So, all I can really say, it's good, and I think I'm going to give most of the credit to the director because, and I'm going to hype up one of our previous episodes, it's the same director as Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh! Okay.
And I think that's why it doesn't come off as annoying, because we talked about this in our review of that, but he is Mormon, and so, his whole thing... And his wife's whole thing, because they co-directed Napoleon Dynamite. I guess she's busy doing the Mormon thing and having 20 kids because she hasn't co-directed with him for a while. So I guess she's doing the housewife thing now. But the thing that they were very good at is, because they were Mormon and they didn't want to have, raunchy comedy, they were very good at, G-rated family-friendly, but while also not being, squeaky clean necessarily.
Yeah.
Napoleon Dynamite was not a dirty movie, but it was also not, kiddie humor.
Do you know what's funny about Napoleon Dynamite is that it was basically it gave the impression that it was going to be dirty, raunchy humor, and they pulled that off without it actually being dirty, raunchy humor, but it still gave that vibe.
And I think that's the guy Jared Hess, he's very good at family-friendly humor. I mentioned that movie. He also did Nacho Libre. This is his wheelhouse, so I'm going to give a lot of the credit to the movie being decent to him, because I think if you just got to rent a director and let the studio pull the reins, I think this could have been really god-awful.
Yeah.
But it's okay. So I gave it a 2 out of 4. It's not my favorite movie. It's not really the kind of thing I would watch, but hey, if you have a 12-year-old boy, you need to distract for 90 minutes. It's perfectly fine.
I gave it a 1.9, and the reason I gave it a 1.9 instead of 2, I think I know why I didn't do this. I didn't do it because nobody threw any popcorn and yelled chicken jockey in my theater. Otherwise, I would have gotten it too. I wanted the experience.
I gotta say, actually, my theater experience, I went during a matinee weeks after it came out because I wanted none of that. And there were 2 groups of kids in my theater. One was very well behaved, and then there were 2 little boys who talked the entire time. So didn't ruin the movie, but I gotta say it was kind of, I really, if it was a movie I cared about, I probably would have gone over, because they were with a man, one of their dads was with them, and I would have been like, can you tell them to stop talking? This is not, you shouldn't be doing that in the movie theater. But I didn't care because it was the Minecraft movie, so I just sort of was like, well, here we go. But so that was my experience. But your turn for a movie.
Okay, so next I have Ballerina. Did you see?
Didn't get a chance to see
it.
This
okay,
one.
So extension.
It looks good.
Extension of the John Wick universe. I loved having a female protagonist in here. For some reason, that makes the violence more palatable, I think, for me. I need to look into that. Anyway,
John Wick movies are pretty good. I've only seen the first one, but their fight choreography is known for just being awesome, and they've got this vast character, all these different assassins in the universe that you can follow. So it's ripe for franchising.
Right. So, this is Ballerina's story. She's another assassin universe. But what I meant was with John Wick, I'm like, did we need to do that? And in Ballerina's movie, I'm like, girl, I got you. That was absolutely necessary. He needed to die. Very, very one-sided. I liked it. I don't usually like action movies. I enjoyed it a bit. It was a fun ride. You know, like I said, is it probably the best in the John Wick franchise? No, but it was I thought it was a fun add-on to it. So I liked it. 2.5, really did enjoy it.
Nice. And then my next one, I'm pretty sure you didn't see, but I saw Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
You know what? This is like Mission Impossible 6. Like, clearly, and I saw this online, this isn't mine, clearly the mission is possible. So.
Well, so, like, this franchise has, like, a perfect track record. All of the movies are good. They're always, like, well put together. The action's crazy. Tom Cruise is putting his life on the line every time. They're not the most intelligent movies. Like, it's like the perfect, like, Hollywood blockbuster action movie. Yeah. You don't need to, like, really think very much. You're just kind of in awe of the stuff happening. Literally, the villain in this is like an AI called The Entity.
Love that.
It sounds like a placeholder but that's
they
that's
forgot
the
to come up with a name.
Yeah, like the writing in all of them is always simplistic, but that's not really the point. And this one's great. Evil AI, spies. The thing about this one, I don't buy that it's supposed to be the last one. Bullshit.
No, it's not.
Me and my family, when I was in like 7th grade, I forget when the 3rd one came out, but that was supposed to be the last Mission Impossible, and it was such a big deal. You got Philip Seymour Hoffman as the villain. Ethan Hunt's wife is kidnapped and she's gonna die, and like he needs to save her, and this is the biggest the stakes have ever been. And then a few years later, Brad Bird does Ghost Protocol. So like, I do not buy that this is the last film at all. Especially it did gangbusters at the box office. Skydance is gonna want to make a 9th one ASAP. But with that in mind, because it's quote unquote the last one, it's tied into like every previous movie, which is cool. However, that's also why this is not a perfect movie for me, because if you have not seen any previous Mission Impossible movies, personally, I have not seen 5 and 7. So, like, I've seen most of them. I'm okay. But if you have not seen, like, any of them, and this is the first one you're getting into, there's a bunch of references and stuff that's just going to go right over your head. So, like, the plot, you'll be able to understand the plot. Like, you won't be lost with stuff happening in the movie. You just will be, like, they'll be referencing something that happened in, like, the 4th movie, and you'll be like, oh, okay. So, that's, like, its only real flaw. So, not a perfect movie, 3.5 out of 4, but a really good time. Also, we are not sponsored by Letterboxd, but anyone who uses that app, one thing I think is kind of neat is some movies, I guess they have like a partnership with. Yep. I got a cool thing that happened with 2 movies. With this one, when I left my review, it was like my phone was getting hacked, and then Ethan Hunt saves me.
Love that.
I loved that. That was so cool. And then of course, finally, my review is able to be posted on Letterboxd. So I hope they do more of those. I thought it was fun. So anyway, your turn, T.
Okay, I think we'll drink for this one. Elio?
Yes.
Amazing. Hold on, sorry. Whoa, calm down. I'm not even halfway through the list. I need to chill. Again, Pixar just knows how to make emotionally resonant films. I don't know what else to say about this. Like, do you know, like, what do they have in the water over at Pixar that makes them do this? Because I don't know what it is. Even if it's not their best movie, it always kind of just makes me cry, and I don't know what that's about. Oh my god!
You just got to kill kids' parents right at the beginning of the movie.
Apparently, that's what.
Apparently.
Oh my god. But okay, so again, I saw this back in the summer. What I remember, he's like on his way to discover himself, and he has this really active imagination. Like, that's what I'm remembering. Am I at least on the right course?
He's obsessed with aliens.
Okay,
like
even better.
something about aliens is
my god, yes, because I remember being like, oh my god, this is like Mulder's backstory.
Pretty much. But yeah, like his parents are gone. He's being raised by his aunt, and he wanders off into like a solar system part of a museum when he's like a kid, and she's taking him out to try and cheer him up. In something he just like emotionally attaches to space and like just really wants to get abducted by aliens. And so then the premise of the movie is kind of he gets his wish, but then he lies and says he is the leader of Earth. And the aliens believe him because why would you lie about that? But because of that, like they're being terrorized by this like evil space lord guy. I forgot his name, but basically like Elio like says, "Oh, I can save you guys," and it becomes like this whole adventure. And anyone who listens to the show knows T is an X-Files whore.
Oh my god,
he loves aliens and all that stuff. I do a bit. It's not a bad movie. People were like hating on. Some people were saying like the animation looked bad. I didn't really get that, but it didn't really emotionally strike a chord with me. I liked like things in it. A lot of the alien designs looked really cool. I liked that telepathic one that almost looked like a like dragon worm thing. Like she looked really cool. Glorden is adorable. My god, because that's another thing. Like, Elio befriends this alien named Glorden, who is the son of the big evil character. And that's another thing. The world building with that whole evil empire was so genius, because it's like they are weak. So their whole culture is about, like, projecting strength. Like, they have these cool suits of armor, and they're all about violence, and it's because they are very vulnerable on the inside. And I loved that. But this didn't really strike that chord with me. I think it's a good movie, but I think it's kind of a lesser Pixar film, going to be kind of in a lower tier. What this reminds me of is a few years ago, Luca came out, and something about that movie just struck a chord with me. I know it's not one of their best Pixar movies, but I just like it. Something about those fish people, the Italian setting, like it just has like summer vacation vibes.
It was the obvious queer subtext.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's that aspect too. But yeah, there's just something about that film that I really like. But objectively, I know it is not as good as some of the other Pixar movies. And I feel like that's the same thing with Elio. If you like aliens, if you're like T and X-Files is a big thing with you,
you will enjoy Elio.
Or like, yeah, this might just strike an emotional chord with you and you'll like it. But I don't think that this is like, Toy Story or Monsters, Inc. or Up.
But to be fair, neither is Toy Story anymore. So
no, my God, Toy Story 5, the trailer made me angry.
I'm like, let it so die. Done.
Jesus, especially like 4 had no business being as good as it was. So it's like, can you stop? Like, you actually made like a good 4th movie. Can you just stop?
Let it die. Let it
seriously
die. Let it go.
So yeah, no, at this point, Elio is probably going to be better than Toy Story 5. But for me, it was a 2.5.
I gave it a 3, but then again, I cried during it, and also, aliens. So
yeah. No, if I go to Disney and they've got a Glorden plush, I'll probably end up picking one up. He's so cute.
You need to go. Okay, immediately plan your trip now.
All right, I think you don't have to drink for this one. Next one for me is Friendship.
No, I thought about it, but then I didn't go.
You didn't miss much. So I really like Tim Robinson's comedy. I Think You Should Leave. I recently watched The Chair Company.
Yep, I was going to say Chair Company.
So one of my favorite shows of last year. That being said, this film, if you like that kind of comedy, it'll make you laugh. But the premise, the script is not like good enough to sustain a feature-length movie. There's bits in it that are funny, but there's not enough of a skeleton to like fill out a whole movie, and it feels very forced. And here's the weird part. So remember T earlier when I said that Paul Rudd is producing some weird stuff?
Yeah.
Tim Robinson had nothing to do with this movie outside of starring in it. He did not write it. He did not direct it. He did not produce it. He's literally just playing that character he plays in his own projects, but he has no, like, I was so shocked and confused reading the credits. This was written and directed by some dude I'd never heard of, and I looked it up months ago when I saw the film, but I don't think he's had any, like, he didn't direct any episodes of I Think You Should Leave or anything.
Yeah.
And Paul Rudd is the one who produced this. He plays, like, the cool guy that Tim Robinson's character wants to be friends with. So this is like a Paul Rudd movie.
Oh, okay.
But that's what's so strange about it, because it feels like a Tim Robinson thing. So,
and from what what you've told me about Tim Robinson features, what I remember seeing in the trailer, I'm like, well, this tracks with that, and that's. Do you think they purposefully cut maybe the trailer to look like a Tim Robinson project to attract more?
Well, the thing is, the movie felt like a Tim Robinson project. Like, my criticism stands that it's not like a good enough script to be a feature-length film, but when you're watching it, it feels like a sketch from one of his comedies, like, stretched into 90 minutes. So the whole time I'm watching the film, I thought, like, oh, this is just a misfire by him. And then when I am staying for the credits, I'm like, wait, what? Like, okay, so he didn't write it, he didn't direct it, he didn't produce it, he didn't, like, he literally is just the star of the movie, and that's it. So, very strange. Not awful. Like, if you like that comedy, you'll probably enjoy, like, watching this on streaming or something, where you can get up and go to the bathroom and, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not that good. So 2 out of 4 for me.
I was going to say I gave it to you, but then I remembered I didn't see that movie. I'm sorry. Wait, did I say that this has lower alcohol? I hope I was right. Okay, so on to me next. Superman.
Oh, yes!
Okay, everybody drink.
Woo!
So Superman, really enjoyed this movie. Again, we have sort of a reset of the Superman verse. We get his backstory again. We get to see, oh my god, I'm forgetting what the guy is, but like one of his main ops. Lex Luthor. Thank you, Lex Luthor.
He is his main op. He's like the Joker for Superman.
And I'm just saying, apparently Superman's more efficient because he took care of him in like one movie. So, meanwhile,
well, and you know who's playing Lex Luthor? Nicholas Hoult, our buddy from Mad Max Fury Road.
And
oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
And you know who's playing Superman? David Corenswet. He was one of the he was I guess the personification
the villain
in Twisters.
Yes.
Which is why the first time I saw him, apparently he has a history also with Ryan Murphy. He's been in some of his projects.
Oh boy.
Which I feel bad for, really. But I really kind of think this is like his breakout role. Getting to helm not only one of the most iconic superheroes of like all time, but to do it in such a big blockbustery performance, I thought was really good, because I thought he was good in it. I had no problems with him in the role. I love the commentary that they used on immigration. That was really good. They made a superhero movie that I think and maybe I'm just glazing here, but I feel like with this one, the superhero movie was expanded beyond just what we have kind of become used to with, like, when people when the people say, like, as an insult, a Marvel movie. I feel like a lot of thought was put into this, a lot of work was put into this, a lot of heart was put into this. Well casted, well acted, but also some very heart-wrenching moments in this. Oh my god, that poor guy from the sandwich. I think it was was it the Eurostan? I feel so bad for his character though. He like has like 1 second where he like helps Superman up and he like ends up dying because of it. I was like, oh, that poor man. But he gets honored at the end of it. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Anyway, but I really, really like this movie. I gave it a 3 out of 4, but really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, this is So James Gunn taking over the DC universe, I thought was incredibly exciting because the man, the same way you see like Martin Scorsese does gangster movies, or Spielberg does science fiction, or Quentin Tarantino does like crime movies, like his
I thought you were gonna
is
say
superhero movies.
I thought you were gonna say because Quentin Tarantino hates on actors online.
Yeah, no. Well, like, so James Gunn is a comic book nerd, and his genre, like his track record with superhero movies is flawless.
Yeah.
And he's a good writer. Like,
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked about this in the past year. Like, part of the reason I think that I mean, it's kind of ironic. So he wrote that Dawn of the Dead remake that we talked about, and it was directed by the guy who did the previous Superman movies.
Yes.
But,
Oh wait,
you know,
that's right. We talked about that. Go on. Yeah, go on. I forgot about that.
he understands that, like, for you to have an emotional connection to any character, let alone a superhero, you need to make them a character. You need to have like some kind of emotional thing with them. And so this is like, you know, no offense, I feel bad for Henry Cavill because he's a great actor and he's not the reason that the old Superman wasn't very good. But he, you know,
That was Zack
what was he
Snyder's
given
fault.
to work with? Yeah, it's just like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with doing like an edgy superhero, but like you got to have that emotional core. And like I was saying this before the Superman movie came out, but part of the like James Gunn took the most obscure Marvel series and made it their biggest success. No one knew what the hell Guardians of the Galaxy one was before he took it over.
Yeah.
Only the most like socially deprived
Oh my
comic
God.
book nerd
Don't be such a hater.
read Guardians. Well, you know what I
No,
mean.
I know.
No one knew what Guardians of
very
the Galaxy
obscure.
was. And now it is the most popular, like I'd say out of like the box office, out of like people's minds of like what makes a good Marvel movie, I'd say most of them would list that trilogy, and it's his fault. So I'm very excited. Supergirl looks really good. Like,
I'm excited for Supergirl.
at this point, I'm gonna throw a little shade at Marvel because what they're doing now is desperate. We're bringing back Steve Rogers. We're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. Everybody's back for Avengers Doomsday because we don't know what to do to make these movies good anymore. So what we're gonna do is just bring everything back that we killed off in Endgame.
Well, to quote one of my new favorite people on the planet, Tabitha Coffey from Tabitha Takes Over, they've become very complacent with what they're doing. You know,
Yes.
There's no innovation, no continued push to try to create a new brand of superheroes. They try it once, and they all flip out and cry, and then they decide not to do it again.
So what's exciting about DC and Warner Brothers is they've got a blank slate. You don't need to worry about the Snyderverse. James Gunn is taking the reins. He's got, directors lined up for future projects. Things are kind of up in the air with the Warner Brothers purchase, but there's like a Green Lantern TV show that was in the works. It's exciting. And that's the thing. It's like Marvel is so bloated and there's so much crap you need to know about and there's so much lore that like it's just almost impossible for you to get into it. We've got a blank slate and we've got such a likable Superman to start out. And
the Superman's hot. Sorry.
There's that too. Well, and also, there's the Justice Friends or whatever. Like, I loved. He knows all of these like strange. Like, no one knew who Mr. Terrific was.
Right.
But he was everyone's favorite part of the movie, myself included. Like, I was just like, who is this guy? And he was so cool. And that's James Gunn's superpower. He reads comics and he knows all of these obscure characters and he knows what makes them interesting.
And he knows how to make them marketable.
And so and not just for Superman, I'm just excited, like, ooh, what's Batman gonna be like? What's his version of Wonder Woman gonna be like? Like, we've got so much potential. Great start to the new DC universe. So I gave it a 3.5.
Love that for us. Well, I can't wait for more. Okay. I
think you get a break from drinking with this one.
Yes,
I got
do.
the Phoenician scheme.
Oh, the Phoenician. Is it pronounced Phoenician?
Yeah, you don't know what the Phoenician...
I know,
the Phoenician alphabet is what we use to communicate.
Yeah, but I thought it would be like Phoenician, like phonetics. Because, like, the way
Well,
that
I mean,
you
some
say
people
it,
pronounce it phonetics.
well, like, because the way you're saying it, I'm thinking like Venetian, like people from Venice. Anyway, go on. This is, like, beside the point.
Yeah, so I feel like Wes Anderson has been kind of in a slump. Like, I've been talking to some friends, including a movie producer friend of mine who feels the same way. Like, the last couple of movies, he's been teaming up with Coppola's son to, like, write his movies. And the movies have been fine, but they just haven't really stood out. Like, his last film, Asteroid City, I would argue is his best looking film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cinematography wise, that movie is just pure eye candy. But there's nothing to it. It's like, oh, some people are stranded in Asteroid City because there's a UFO.
Well,
that's the movie.
And it totally kind of passed for a Wes Anderson film. It passed completely under the radar. It came out like midsummer.
Yeah, I don't think it even got any... I think it might have gotten some awards or, like, nominations for, like, I don't know, like, maybe cinematography. I don't think, like, for a while, pretty much since Hotel, or the Budapest Hotel, he just has, like, he's been putting out movies. They've been well received. People have been seeing them, but they just haven't really been very exciting. I like this one. It's weird. It's like, it's not genius. I like how strangely dark it is. It's still got his cutesy kind of like dollhouse kind of aesthetics, but you have a guy getting blown up in the first 5 minutes. You know?
As one does.
Basically, it's about essentially this this super wealthy guy who everyone is constantly trying to assassinate, hence the violence. Who has had like a change of heart and is trying to work on this project that's supposed to like better everybody, hence the Phoenician scheme. So he like reconnects with his daughter, who is like in the process of becoming a nun, and they're like traveling around to all these business partners and like getting the Phoenician scheme in order so that it can start like providing for people. Weird movie, but maybe it's because it's darker. There was like the music was really good. I just liked this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the most memorable thing he's done in a while. At the time, I thought that it was probably going to be like in the awards. You know, like I thought it might get some Oscar nominations. I don't think that's going to be the case. But if anyone hasn't looked at like Wes Anderson in a while, I'd recommend this one. Check it out. It's odd. It feels like kind of the black sheep of his, you know, movies, but it's at least original and it at least feels different from his other movies. So I gave it a 3 out of 4.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
Tell me something I don't know.
Right? Okay, I need to calm down. Okay. So then I know you didn't see this. I saw a little film called Ojai.
Oh, interesting.
Is
it like Ojai, California?
No,
or like...
it's like O-H, H-I.
Okay, gotcha.
Basically what it is, this girl goes away with this guy that she's seeing to this. It sounds like a horror movie, and it is, but not in the traditional way. She's been seeing, they go to a little cabin, they have a perfect time. And then at some point she finds out that he doesn't want anything serious. And she's like, why? We're doing couple things. And he's like, well, I don't really want anything. And then she gets like really obsessed with the idea of getting him to like want her as a girlfriend, that she basically holds him hostage, but in a comedic way. And so that's basically the premise of the movie. I didn't like anybody in this movie at all. They all sucked. I gave this, I mean, like, not like acting. I mean, like, I didn't like the characters. The story was kind of, I really didn't, I wanted to enjoy this, and I really didn't. I gave it a 1. I did not enjoy this movie. There's a funny scene in it where they try to use like witchcraft, but like in that kind of like TikTok-y sort of way. That was funny.
I mean, you know, don't doubt that those TikTok witches apparently get results.
They do. They do. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. I just meant in the way they do. It was just kind of like, girl, really? But
if I ever get contacted by an ex and they say like, "Oh, you know, I put a curse on you from a
take
TikTok,"
it seriously.
I'll be like, don't be hasty. What can I do to make things better? I don't want to die.
Like, so it's just like I didn't like spectacularly in a public fashion. But yeah, so it's just like I didn't really like the characters. The story could have done good. It didn't end very well. And I just mean the ending wasn't good. Yeah, unless something. This one of the ones it's like maybe I totally misunderstood this, but I gave it a 1.
Fair enough. I know we're drinking on the next one, and this is going to be rich for discussion. Materialist.
Yes. Wait, did I skip over Materialist? I did. I skipped over Materialist like an hour ago.
Fair enough. On that note, I also noticed while you were talking that I forgot to check off Elio, and I don't think I in case the alcohol's getting to me, I gave Elio a 2.5 out of 4.
We did, and I said I gave it a 3 because of aliens. And
okay, good. All right, so we're on to Materialists.
I have a lot to say about this movie.
I'm going to start off, this is going to be a theme not just for this movie, but retroactively from like Civil War last year and some other movies coming up, that A24 needs to fire their marketing team. Genuinely, like, it's not, like, we'll get to it later, but like Civil War, for instance, what's up with the AI posters? And then with this, like, I actually really enjoyed Materialist. And then
Marty Supreme. But you'll get to that later.
That'll be later. But yeah, this is another one where it's like, can you just like, you don't need to like lie and make people think this is going to be like a fun romantic comedy. Especially like A24 has an audience that likes the types of movies it typically puts out. And this is also like a decorated director who has made like, you know, gonna put it out there, this is a woman who's made like other kind of, you know, contemplative sort of films like this. Why are you lying, A24? Just say what kind of movie it is, because people still see it. So
I feel like I feel like if they had been honest about the what genre it was at the beginning, because they say it's a rom-com, it is not. I would have maybe been less disappointed, but I was still disappointed. But what you were saying.
Well, I'll let you tell us your thoughts, because I'm probably going to be a bit nicer than you. I did enjoy this.
Okay.
It is not what was advertised, but what it turned out to be, I enjoed quite a bit. But let's hear your thoughts and experience on it.
Basically, this is broke boy propaganda. I'm just kidding. No, so basically what this movie is, it's a matchmaker, very much. She's really good at matching people, never found actual love herself. She thinks she finds the perfect match. Everything, you know, matches up. But then, you know, her ex enters the picture and then conflict, you know, happens. It's a drama. They kept trying to push this as a rom-com. It is not a rom-com. And my biggest issue with this movie is the fact. Well, I mean, I have to rephrase this so it doesn't give away what the thing is, because my issue is with the ending. So first off, they include a subplot that I think is distastefully used. So they have this. They have a. It's a very sensitive subject of a thing, and I thought it was used very distastefully. Second of all, it does not. Its finale. It finally does not leave. Basically this movie's theme should have been get therapy, and that's not what they picked. They picked other options. I can't really talk about this. Basically, the ending got me heated. Get therapy, girl. You all need therapy. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that was kind of it was a good. Even though it wasn't a rom-com, I was sort of enjoying it up to a point when I saw the direction the film was going, and then I became very unhappy. with what I think the overall messaging of it now is, because of choices that were made.
So here's my what it is to me. So it's not a rom-com, it's definitely a drama, but I think, we've got a director who has something to say about dating. And for me, once I was watching this, it became, oh, this is like a commentary on modern dating. I'm going to ask, so the side plot that you're talking about, no spoilers for the overall film, but I am kind of curious because right after you saw this movie, you were asking me if women had ever asked about my height on dating apps. And I said, yeah, all the time. But you as a homosexual man, you don't get that as much, it sounds like. But so I'm guessing, are you talking about the Pedro Pascal side plot? Is that what you thought was done?
No, that I thought was fine. It's with her other clients. The client.
Because I'm going to bring this. It sounds like that side plot. I'd be curious. Dang, we can't talk about it because that is kind of a spoiler. So when I say this is like a commentary, a meditation on modern dating, the Pedro Pascal thing, something that irritates me about people who were, rightfully, they were bait and switched by this movie, so they're not the type of people to go and see a movie like this. But one thing that got on my nerves was people saying that Pedro Pascal was miscast. He was not miscast.
Do you have any idea how charming Pedro Pascal? Those people said that
the point of casting Pedro Pascal is that he is perfect.
Exactly.
No spoilers for the ending of this film or anything, but basically, one of the selling points is ooh, Pedro Pascal is her potential love interest. That's the other thing. It made it feel like this was going to be a love triangle, and that didn't really pan out so much. So yeah, she is a matchmaker, and she has these very wealthy clients, and one of them is Pedro Pascal, and he ends up hitting on her, and he is perfect. There's nothing wrong with him for the whole freaking movie. But you find out that he got height surgery. He was short. He was 5'4", and because of that, he could not get a date, despite being crazy rich, despite being super handsome, despite being super charming. He could not find a date just because of his height. That is the point of this movie.
Yeah.
That encapsulates what this movie is trying to say about modern dating culture. Because for watching this, her clients are the worst. I hated all of her clients.
Right.
They were so entitled and shitty, and it's because they're rich people. But something I couldn't help but feel is that I think that her clients are so similar to normal people on dating apps or out in the world, where it's they don't want a person. They want some kind of
they want an ideal. Basically.
They want to accessorize.
Yeah.
They want a thing that they think is pretty to be on them. And this is not everybody. In my dating life, I've also met very lovely people, but it's the type of people that care about a man's height. I'm 6'2", so I have never had to worry about that. It's one of those things I get asked all the time. And I know that when I show up on the dates, they're not gonna accuse me of oh, you lied about your height, because I'm clearly fucking 6'2".
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things that I find incredibly unattractive, even though I'm in that person's wheelhouse, and they usually don't complain when I show up on the date. I just find it's like when men think, and that's usually what they'll throw back in those women's face, is calling them fat or something, but it is just as unattractive as doing that.
Right.
So, that is kind of what this movie is about. I agree. I don't really with the ending, I think what it's trying to say is relationships are work. I can't get into it more without spoiling what happens at the end. Yeah. And the side plot you're talking about would be an interesting discussion as well.
Yeah.
But I think the most irritating thing about this film is that the marketing team lied about it.
Right, just
not
say
the
it's a
director's
romantic
fault.
drama. Just say it's a drama. Why did you have to dress it up? And they're oh, I forget what the director's name is, but she's come to save the rom-com genre. I'm was the comedy in the room with us?
I also like Dakota Johnson. I forget what she did recently that put a bad taste in my mouth. I am gonna say she was fine in the movie. She's someone I've been thinking for a while just needs to be like retired out of Hollywood because I've never seen her put on a good performance. She's okay in this.
Yeah.
But then I forget what happened recently. She said something out of pocket that put a bad taste in my mouth recently, and I'm kind of like, nope, I hate her.
I hate her now.
So. Yeah, so anyway, 3 out of 4 for me. I really kind of equate that to the director more than anything. And the acting was fine. Pedro Pascal's good. Chris Evans?
Chris Evans.
I always get the Chris Evans. Chris Evans was good. He was actually really good, despite his character not being perfect. Obviously, Pedro Pascal was great. But yeah, 3 out of 4 for me.
Yes, like I gave it a... What did I give it? I gave it a 2.3. I wanted to give it a 2 and just be like, it's an okay drama, but I did sort of like the styling and the vibes. Like, it definitely is one of those movies where it has a vibe to it, and I kind of enjoyed the vibe, even if I hated the overall story. Not the overall story, just the way the story ended.
Nah, gotcha. All right, and I think it's your turn.
Yes, I don't know. I don't think we're drinking in this one. I saw Naked Gun.
No, we're drink. Not only that, T, I rewatched it last night for fun. So that gives the audience an idea of what I think of this one. Of course, I saw the Naked Gun.
He's obviously giving it a 1. No, I'm just kidding. Naked Gun. This is my
I'm
first
giving it
time.
a 0.
This is the first time I've seen any of the Naked Gun movies. I think I could
really. You didn't watch the original trilogy?
I probably did when I was younger, and I just have no memory of it because my parents watched all kinds of movies, and I probably did, but it was never like in my personal rotating like wheelhouse. I really enjoyed this movie. It was like I said,
man.
for a foray into it to enjoy technically the what is it like it's not even the reboot. It's a sequel. Of the original
soft reboot is the terminology that Red Letter Media. I like where it like Mad Max Fury Road. Because it's technically a sequel, but you have a new character playing Mad Max.
Okay, so soft reboot. Okay.
And you don't need to know anything about the past movies, so soft reboot.
There are as I looked at my mom jokes in there. If you had seen the original movies, for example, he is the descendant of the original guy from
Frank Drebin.
Yes. From the original Naked Gun movies. Basic premise. There's a murder. They gotta solve it, or the police department shuts down, which I thought was hilarious. I kind of think that was poking fun at just most plots, because it's like, why are they shutting down a police department for like not... It's not like a sales room. Like, you didn't sell enough cars. So there's lots of just funny stuff. Not only pokes fun at the genre, it pokes fun at the movie writing process, how things work. There's so much stuff in here. Like, there's obvious humor, there's clever humor, there's humor all over the place. I really enjoyed this. My personal favorite part, I am a Paul Walter Hauser stan. He was good as the sidekick in this. I really enjoyed it. And then we had Pamela Anderson. Love seeing her back in movies as the love interest. She was really good playing, that sort of, I forget what it's called, but basically where you're, I guess is it called
Femme Fatale?
Well, like Femme Fatale, but it's also she's really good at playing the humor where it's funny, but they're just unaware of that it's funny.
She's been on a tear. You recommended last year The Last Showgirl, and I've watched it since last year. She is a better actress than she gets credit for. The bit that I thought was really funny, especially since it's fresh in my mind since I just rewatched it last night. The scat bit where she's like improvising jazz stuff, like she's because clearly she obviously actually had to improvise that, and she was very funny, like with all of that. I cannot believe, especially with like this sort of era of films that you've watched, because you tend to like 70s and 80s stuff, so I'm shocked.
Well, here's the thing: I said I've probably seen them. I just didn't remember them. My mom claimed
if you like this movie. So here's the thing that was on everybody's mind when this trailer dropped is it going to live up to the originals? Because if you've seen Airplane, same deal. It's like that kind of movie where it's, a spoof of the genre, but it's like Siskel and Ebert, the people we constantly mock, they famously said you'll laugh twice, once at the joke and twice at yourself laughing at the joke. And that's the kind of humor this is. But everyone was like, is this actually going to be like a Naked Gun movie? Or is, because it's Akiva from The Lonely Island. It's being produced by Seth MacFarlane. So, like, is this going to be like Family Guy, or is this going to feel like an actual Naked Gun movie?
And
my God, T, if you liked this, watch the whole trilogy. I know O.J. Simpson is in them, but
well, I mean, they even make fun of that.
It's almost kind of fun
too.
to watch because he's in it. So, like,
they poke fun at O.J. being in the original in this one. They even have, because everybody's like crying over their predecessors, and they have the black character be like, "Yeah, no, we're not touching that."
Yep. No, but again, like that is because that's the other thing with the Naked Gun is like they would make some pretty edgy jokes like that, but they did it in a tasteful way. This, I think everyone has already seen this movie, but if you haven't, it is that good. It is as good as the original movies. Liam Neeson, he does the whole, like, the delivery is the important thing, because the whole thing with Leslie Nielsen was that he played it serious, and that's what made it funny, because he'd be doing silly things, but he was, still the hard-boiled cop. Liam Neeson understood the assignment, and the joke writing is great. Even though the type of people who complain about like politics being in films are annoying, you guys are safe. There's like not really any topical stuff in this movie. It's all just stupid jokes. Genuinely, like I'm not the sort of person on the show who usually is shouting out comedies. This is one of the best films of the year, and it's one of the few 4 out of 4s on my thing this year.
And I agree with what you said about it. One of the things I thought was really good, because just based on my knowledge of like the airplane movies and that sort of genre of stuff, they were very good to kind of update the humor to a way that doesn't enter a problematic area without taking out humor. Does that make sense? And I thought that was
also, like, I guess I'm wrong. Like, so for instance, at the very, very end of the movie, no spoiler because this is just a joke, but like during the credits, there's kind of a scene where it's like, oh, Frank Drebin, he got in trouble with internal affairs for like police brutality or whatever. So then it shows he's in like this vacation spot called Internal Affairs Island or whatever, and it's like a big... They're making fun of the fact that like cops don't get punished.
Yeah.
So it is like technically a political joke, but it's done in a way that like even the like hardcore like, all lives matter types are not going to get like all hot and bothered about.
But and like that, so that's what just makes it so good, is just that they were able to update the humor without it becoming problematic, but not take away how hilarious they can be with this whole genre. But yeah, so I gave it a 3 out of 4.
Heck yeah. All right, so... Okay, cool. I think we're safe on drinking for this one. 28 years later.
Oh, thank God, yeah, because I need to have some water.
Go for it. Yeah, so this has been a long time in the making. I said on Letterboxd this felt like the band getting back together, because you've got the same director. You've got... oh my God, please. Well, you've got the same director. The whiskey's hitting me, so now my memory is going. You have the same director, writer, and cinematographer who were like the key players in 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle. We've got Alex Garland, and I can't remember the name of the cinematographer because he's Danish and he's got a weird name. But
Anthony Dodd Mantle.
There we go. Thank you. Shout out to our 28 Days Later episode that we did way back when we were cringy. I literally think that was the first season of the show. But anyway,
that was
you've got.
God.
I think it was.
It was. I just remember some comment
like,
I made on it that I still. Oh God, that was not phrased right, and I knew what I was trying to do. Anyway, but yeah.
Anyway, so, really cool movie. It's cool that the 3 people who made the original so good came back. And they brought some of the same tricks. Fun fact, if any of you out there did not know, but this was shot on an iPhone 15. That was supposed to be kind of a nod to the original being shot on a bunch of digital video cameras to have that kind of surveillance camera look. They were like, what can we do now that would be sort of the same idea? So the whole thing was shot on an iPhone. Really cool. Also, with it being almost 3 decades past, the initial incident, it's interesting to see how the world has changed, what, the infected are like, what they've mutated into. Everyone loved Samson, myself included. He was very funny the way he just would rip people's heads out. Really cool. Like, I genuinely thought this was such a great movie. And I'm seeing the Bone Temple soon. That's another kind of interesting thing. This might come back later as like a later review because I did not know going into this, but I found out after I'd seen the movie that this is part 1 of a trilogy. So Bone Temple is the second movie, which frankly kind of looks better than this one. It's, the doctor character I was raving about in our zombie team episode back in like Halloween. He's like one of the main characters, so I'm excited to see it. And then I guess there's a third movie coming out probably at the end of this year because it looks like they shot everything all at once and they're releasing it one by one. But this was like an oddly touching movie. This was kind of about grief and processing death. You would not expect that in like this kind of movie, but it was like genuinely I could see myself maybe even crying at the end.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that the ending was emotional. It's
really because basically, well, I can't explain it because it is like
hey, these are your rules.
Later, right. They are my rules. But you should see it if you like the first movie, if you like horror movies, if you like zombie movies, and you want something with kind of a surprising bit of emotion to it. Definitely check this out. It's not that scary if you're into zombie movies. I definitely don't think like something that bothers T with those types of movies is the apocalyptic aspect of it. The world has not ended. The entire island of, the UK, Britain, Scotland, all of that has been quarantined. So if you are there, you will not leave. The army will shoot you if you try and swim, because they cannot have the rage virus leaving the island. So because of that, civilization has continued, but it's very strange. And we're following a community that's walled off. They live in this area that when high tide comes, the zombies can't get to town because there's too much water. So when it's low tide, they go out and scavenge for supplies, and then they come back before high tide.
Wait, okay, hang on. Really quick, I know this is not a personal review of this movie, but just this popped in my head. So, are the townspeople this stupid that they're letting more of themselves become infected instead of waiting 28 days? Because didn't we learn the zombies die off because they can't eat anything?
Well, they don't die off. So it's established in this film there's different mutations that happen. There's some that get really bloated and kind of crawl on the ground and they're very quiet. So they're scary because they can sneak up on you. You might not notice them and they're grabbing you from the back.
Interesting.
Then you have it's interesting. The Alex Garland really kind of played. He had fun with the idea of what would happen in 30 years.
Yeah.
So there's different mutations of zombies and different rules now. And you're stuck there no matter what. The zombies clearly have not starved off, and no matter what, you're not getting off the island anymore. Okay. Well, and that too, we didn't get into it because I haven't seen it since high school, but there is also some extra lore from the movie that nobody likes because there's mutations from that too, as well as I don't think they starve off anymore because of that movie.
Interesting.
Which that was inspired by the AIDS epidemic. It was kind of the writer of that movie, because it was not Alex Garland, was intrigued by the idea that some AIDS carriers could not show symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Oh, asymptomatic carriers.
So there's exactly. So there's the whole point of the 28 weeks later is like one of the main characters' moms is asymptomatic with the rage virus, and she's what brings it back, even though she's not, raging. So mutations have been like introduced into that movie, and that kind of goes on to this. But anyway, like without rambling on too much, I really enjoyed this one. I'm very excited to see if it's going to be like a good trilogy, because one thing I did kind of feel was that it did feel incomplete, and that made sense when I found out it was a trilogy. So the Bone Temple looks awesome. Frankly, it looks like it might be better than this one. So we'll see how that goes. But I gave this a 3 out of 4.
Awesome. Okay. On to the next. So that would be me. Okay. So
Yes.
Bad Guys 2. Now,
No, did not see this.
I actually reviewed Bad Guys a couple years ago because I also saw it for the thing. Based on a series of books. Basically, this movie follows the group, the bad guys. They are now out in the world trying to live their lives straight and having difficulty, and then they end up getting framed for a crime while trying to do good. So they have to figure out some way out of it. Much like the first one, I really, really like this one. I kind of think it's really interesting because I feel like there's not a lot of kids movies that want you to sympathize with what's technically criminal behavior, which you learn the first one and then this one. And I've always thought that concept was just interesting. I really liked it. I really like the animation style. There's actually parts of this that it's almost like they swap animation styles in the middle of it when they go into action sequences. That's pretty cool. There was a lot of work and effort that was put into this movie again. So it didn't feel like a throwaway sequel or one-off sequel or a cash grab or anything like that. Really enjoyed this. I thought it lived up to the legacy of the original one. Loved it. I gave it a 3 out of 4. Oh, also it's animated.
Coolio. I think we might be safe on my next one as well. Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth.
There was a Jurassic Park movie this year.
Oh.
We've had this conversation a few times. Remember when you were like, "I'm seeing Avatar"? I'm like, there was an Avatar movie this year.
Well, with this one, I don't you want to have your mind blown, T. This one, actually, no. Okay, wait. Domestically, it's doing really well. Domestically, this is the 3rd highest grossing film of the year.
Oh, okay.
Globally, not even close. But domestically in America, it did really well. I was intrigued by this because they did what I wish they had done with the Jurassic World franchise. They decided to completely nix Chris Pratt and all of those characters.
Oh, thank God.
So it's oh my goodness. Scarlett Johansson. So Scarlett Johansson is like a badass who they hire because they need DNA from dinosaurs to cure cancer or some bullshit. So they get a team together to go to the island, and then they end up, chaos ensues, dinosaurs attack, and then at the same time you have this stupid family doing a sailing trip.
Love that.
Unrelated, that gets stuck on the island.
Oh, wait.
The movie starts off explaining that, like, the dinosaurs are dying off, and they basically live by the equator. So, like, they're going to one of the dinosaur islands to get the DNA for, like, the cure to cancer. But this family is clearly sailing by the equator because they get attacked by a mosasaur. I hate it. God, it's one of those things where, like, the father's an idiot off the bat. You end up liking the family later on, but it is just one of those, like, let's make them stupid for the convenience of the movie.
Yep.
And so that, like, not all of the characters are like mercenaries. This movie, if you're looking for dumb dinosaur action, it's fine. This kind of reminded me a little bit of like Lost World, the second Jurassic Park movie, and kind of the same way that it's like, it's fine, but it's not that great. Mm-hmm. This is like, T and I both agree. Fallen Kingdom is the worst Jurassic World movie.
Yes.
It is so stupid. This is nothing like that. This is clearly trying to be a crowd-pleasing film, and it mainly succeeds. When there's action sequences, it's great. There's like a part right after they get to the island where it's just everybody's having kumbaya moments with different characters and everybody's talking for like 30 minutes, and it got really strangely boring right in the middle, and then it got better. It's just sort of like not, it doesn't matter. I don't know if clearly this did really well box office wise, so I don't know if they're just going to keep like churning out like dumb dinosaur action movies.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. It's not like poorly made or anything, and frankly, I prefer this to either of the Jurassic World sequels.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's not that great, so I gave it a 2 out of 4.
It's like sounds like it's basically like Jaws too.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's fine. Like, if you just like the action in Jurassic Park movies, this will be great. Like, you won't complain about it at all. And those were the parts of the movies that were really good. And fun fact, I learned, I think I saw this on Frame Voyager, I forgot, but in the original novel Jurassic Park, there is a sequence that was cut where they're in an inflatable raft and the T-Rex attacks. Not in that movie, but they put it in this movie. So, and that was one of the better like sequences in this. So that was cool. But yeah, like it's fine, but it wasn't. It's also like we're devolving into. It's not even dinosaurs anymore. On this island, it's like, oh, they were experimenting. So there's a bunch of monsters that aren't even real dinosaurs. They're just like genetic freaks that like never existed. So it's like, okay, so now we're not even like in dinosaur territory. It's just like whatever you feel like making.
Right. Well, they're just gonna keep making it. This is what allows Steven Spielberg to continue making more disappointing films like The Fabelmans.
Well, I mean, Spielberg had nothing to do with this. It was,
I would assume he owns the intellectual property to it, so he makes some sort of royalty off this.
I think he produces it. It's complicated because it's like, technically it's a Michael Crichton book, and then I don't know.
Look, it's just
at this point it might be so divorced from his company that like maybe they're producing it, but I don't even know anymore.
Okay, so on to the next one. I don't think you saw this. If you did, let me know. Freakier Friday.
It looked great, but I missed it.
No, it was good. It was really fun. Basically,
I just said it looked great.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're right. It is great.
No,
I don't know.
like, okay, so my 2 cents will be from the trailer. When I saw the trailer, I was very pleasantly surprised and impressed that they went with a 4-way switch.
Yes.
Because you would think, oh, they're just going to do it again. No. Everybody's in a different body. Like that, the premise looked awesome. Like, I just missed this movie because there was so much coming out. And I'm probably going to check it out when I see it on Disney Plus or something. But I haven't seen it, but it looked really good from the trailer.
Yeah, well, it was good. It was very good. And I did like the 4-way switch. I love the generational dynamics they added into it. I mean, there was some in the original one, but it's even more so in this one because, as I say, generations have gotten farther and farther apart because generations have gotten smaller. So no, that was really good. I love the return again of Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, both still doing a great job in this role. Their daughters, also a good role. Yeah, I think I saw this the same night I saw Naked Gun. I think I saw this after Naked Gun, actually. I really enjoyed it. 3 out of 4. Really liked it.
Heck yeah. All right, we're safe on this one as well. Eddington.
Yes, we were definitely safe on this one.
So,
by the way, I skipped over a movie on my list because I want you to introduce it.
One of my close friends was raving about this before I ended up seeing it. I like Ari Aster. I have said this in past episodes. Someone needs to reel him in because when left to his own devices, his movies will be 12 hours long. And that's kind of the case with this. What I like about it, or just what I like about him right now, I like that he's not just doing horror. Like, he's kind of veered off into satire territory. Mm-hmm. I mentioned that. I think, like, literally, Beau, he is a winner of one of my movies of the year. A few years ago, Beau is Afraid was my movie of the year. So this is more in the same vein of that. It's meant to be, like, a satire, and it's a COVID movie.
Yeah.
It's basically like this small town.
Well, even though
in the midst of
even The Witch was a satire.
Well, The Witch wasn't him.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
And also, like, I don't know if I'd say that was a satire as much as like a fable. But anyway, so it's basically the small town is in the midst of the pandemic, and the sheriff is kind of fed up and like sort of losing his mind. And then Pedro Pascal is playing the guy who is the mayor, and it's like they're kind of butting heads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a weird movie. It's not like really trying to like I think something that is sort of maybe not problematic. Like, I feel like some people will like watch this movie and be like, see, all of those woke things were like wrong. But I feel like he was just sort of mocking the insanity of everything, because I don't really feel like anybody was right. The sheriff is like the most sympathetic character in the movie, but he also crosses a line later on in the movie. So
Girl, he crosses a lot of lines.
It's not like saying that he was like right all along or anything like that. It's complicated. I think that it is the epitome of all COVID movies, and I think it's Ari Aster once again throwing everything but the kitchen sink. Actually, no, everything and the kitchen sink into the movie. Because it's 3 hours long again. I complained about this with Beau is Afraid, and with that film, I said the first 2 acts were perfect, and then it fell apart at the end. This needed to be trimmed up, and I feel it's weird too, because this came out so randomly and so quickly. It's like I saw a trailer, and then it's like it's coming out next week.
Really?
So I don't know if this is something.
I've been seeing that stupid social media trailer that they'd been pushing for like 3 months by now, and I hate it every time it came on.
Eddington?
Yeah.
They're like pushing it on social media right now?
No, like when it was coming out, they have their trailer was like people on social media talking about stuff. And I saw that for months.
Gotcha.
So I love how we have different, because we've talked about stuff, and like I get different ads a lot of times than you do for movies, and for longer or shorter.
It's targeted ads, man. Well, that's why would they target you and not me? Is what's funny to me. It's like I'm the person you would think that would get more like Ari Aster ads.
They're trying to infect me with the pods.
The man needs to be reined in. This film is not going to win my best picture of this year. It's good. I think it is the epitome of all COVID movies. It makes fun of every single thing that happened during that lockdown. So if you ever want to revisit that trauma, go ahead. I will also say, like, Phoenix, his performance, I didn't know it was him until I was reading the credits. I genuinely, maybe not when I was reading the credits, because by that point I think I knew he was the star, but like I didn't recognize him. So good job, I guess. Also, I will say, I hope Ari Aster starts working with other actors, because this is the second movie in the row he's worked with Phoenix, and it's like, can we move on? Like, he was good in Beau, and again, he's good in Eddington, but it's just, I don't know.
Well, there's 2 good things.
It's good.
2 good things came out of this movie. One, Ari Aster will be reined in, because even though you enjoyed Beau is Afraid, it was a large failure financially.
And this one too.
So they did say that this was probably the end of like A24, at least, handing him just a bunch of cash and saying make a movie. Well, and because the guy is really smart. I like him in interviews and stuff, and again, I can kind of see what he was trying to do with this movie. And on some level, I like the fact that he just does whatever he wants. Like, there is kind of a nice, like, artistic freedom to his movies that you don't see in a lot of stuff. But you can't just keep like churning out these giant freaking over bloated turds. I say that like Beau is Afraid was my movie of the year that year, but like he needs to cut it out. It's kind of like when Midsummer, the director's cut, came out, and it was 3.5 hours long. And basically everyone was in agreement that it's like, okay, this, if you want more of the movie, it's there, but the theatrical cut is better. Yeah.
Like, I think he needs to hear that and really, like, think about that when he's, like, cutting these movies. Like, hey, remember how everybody said the theatrical cut of Midsommar was better than your cut? Think about that, because both of these movies could have been, like, masterpieces, but just because he needed to make them everything all at once, like, it messes with his movies. So,
and
again, it's good. I liked it, but I didn't love it. 2.5 out of 4.
And lastly, I'll say the other good thing that came out of it is, with it being another movie that failed with Joaquin Phoenix as the lead, we shouldn't be seeing him in a leading role for a while. So that's good. I'm still upset at him for what he did to those other people. Anyway, on to me. Plain Clothes. I don't think you saw this.
No, you were raving about it. It looked really good.
Yes. So it actually has more of an like, when I think of an indie film, this has the classic indie film thing that I'm thinking of. Basic premise: this guy works undercover in the 90s for the police department. He basically works, I think it's technically been classified as entrapment now. We basically try to get men to go to the bathroom with him and to, like, engage in a sexual activity, then he would arrest them, or have them arrested. So, and then that's working. He's lost his father. He just recently had a breakup, and then something changes when he becomes attracted to one of his targets. So that's what's interesting about that. It was actually it's a really sad movie, but it's really, really good. I forget who the main actor is. He was phenomenal in it. And then we had, as the, I guess, love interest, was Russell Tovey. He was really good in this too. Yeah, it's kind of was just an under the radar sort of indie film that kind of came and went. I do think it was just interesting to see a movie like this the same year that we also had The Wedding Banquet, A Nice Indian Boy, and we also had, we bookended it with Heated Rivalry. So it was kind of interesting because, in a way, this movie feels reductive, but it's also not. It's hard to explain that in queer cinema. But I do think this was an enjoyable movie. It did move a little slow for me, which is what kept it from being a 3. So I gave it a 2.5.
Heck yeah.
Your turn.
I think we're safe on drinking. Maybe. Did you see Fantastic Four: First Steps?
No, I wanted to and I didn't. I just never got around.
Well, I guess we're not drinking. It's pretty good. I just took a big shit on Marvel not too long ago, and that shit stands. I think part of the reason this film was so exciting is that it takes place in an alternate universe where the Marvel universe we are familiar with doesn't exist, and the Fantastic Four essentially are the Avengers. Mm-hmm. This is the best depiction of the Fantastic Four I've ever seen in film. I really like that they actually kind of adapted Reed Richards' genius in a way that other films didn't really. The humor is great. They understand the assignment that it's about the family dynamic. Like, they're called Marvel's First Family, so it's about them, being a family. Literally, it starts off with Susan Storm being pregnant. It's great that you've got Galactus in all of his glory. He's not some stupid CGI cloud like he was in the previous ones. Right. To some extent, it's just another Marvel movie, but I think it's just nice to see, again, something really stripped down. You don't have all of this bloat from all of the previous films, because you don't need to know about all the previous films, because this takes place in its own universe. And everyone's really likable. I like this Fantastic Four. Despite everyone mocking Doomsday, I'm kind of excited to see these guys integrated into the greater universe. And it's also exciting to see Disney finally, using the Fox properties they bought. Right. So I liked this. I gave it the same score as Superman. I will say I prefer Superman. I think it's more interesting. I think it's more exciting. But just judging this on its own, I thought it was very good. Also, I really like every Fantastic Four film implements, or they integrate the whole "it's clobbering time" catchphrase with the Thing differently. Mm-hmm. This movie I thought was really funny. Like it's not like a story thing, so I guess I'll say what it is. So like, again, It's Clobbering Time is kind of like a very cheesy 1960s kind of thing you'd see in a comic book. So every film kind of puts it in the film in a different way. The one that was awful that everybody hated is really funny, because in that one, well, I'm going to sound like evil for saying it's funny, but it's funny because of how fucked up it is. But basically, Ben Grimm's like father in that film was like abusive. So like before he'd beat his kids, he'd say it's clobbering time.
Oh my God.
So in this film, as I said, the Fantastic Four essentially are the Avengers. They're the biggest superheroes in the world. There are no Iron Man or Captain America or anything like that. So they have a cartoon on TV, like, oh, yay, it's the Fantastic Four. So in the cartoon, Ben Grimm, the Thing, he says it's clobbering time, but it's just in the cartoon. So when he's out in New York and people say, he's like, hey, Ben, what time is it? He's like, oh, no, that's just in the cartoon. I don't say that. And then obviously he says it at the end of the movie when it's like, but I just thought that was funny. Like the idea, like it's so corny. It's like, oh no, they made that up. I don't say that.
I do like that.
So anyway, yeah, 3.5, same as Superman. I prefer Superman, but this was a good Marvel movie. All right, your turn.
Okay. Frankenstein.
Ooh, let's see.
So we have to drink for this.
We're drinking for sure. I'm just looking for it on my. There it is.
You must have already took my shot. So Frankenstein. This is an adaptation of the classic Frankenstein tale. So we have the rise of Dr. Frankenstein, the building of Prometheus. And then his escape and the downfall of Dr. Frankenstein, all that. High expectations going to this. This is like the director's dream project. This is the one they've inspired them as a kid. The original one dreamed of doing this, and I was on board for it. I was rooting for them, and I was just like, and I told you this, and you were like, really? I'm like, yeah. My response to this was, did we girl boss too close to the sun? I think he was so in with the lore and the story, and had so much as he put way too much in. I think we needed to cut out definitely. I think the story of the potential romance between the Doctor and Mia Goth's character. Like, I understand the importance of it for the creature, for Prometheus, but I did not understand what purpose it served in here. We also had a bunch of stuff with Dr. Frankenstein leading up to it that had no bearing on the part of the movie that was frankly more interesting to watch. I wanted to give this a 1.
Oh wow.
I did not give it a 1 because it is still visually beautiful, except for whoever the hell it was that was Maya Goth's costumer. I don't know why they did her so dirty with that feather hat. That was god awful. But there were some great sequences in this, but it to me, it really collapsed under the weight of itself. There was too much. They didn't know what to cut, what to keep. And we ended up with frankly, what I kind of feel was there was so much in it that the really important parts or the really amazing sequences didn't get a chance to breathe or stand out. And God, it was just too long. So I gave it a 2, almost a 1.
Oh my God. I'm a bit nicer. I felt like the odd duck out with this one. It's not his best movie. It's I'm going to shout out it's ironic. We did 2 episodes this year that are so perfect for this movie. We did Bram Stoker's Dracula, yes, and we did King Kong.
Yes.
This is a King Kong situation. I said this in that review that Peter Jackson wanted that movie to be everything. And because of that, it was 3 hours long. There's a love story that goes nowhere and all of this other stuff. And it's the same thing. It's really interesting when a director gets to make their own favorite movie. It's to remake the movie that is their favorite movie.
Yeah.
So I think it's another case of he wanted it to be everything, which is why it's a little too long. Visually, it's amazing. I think, I bring up Bram Stoker's Dracula because I'm kind of like, I can't think of another Frankenstein adaptation that's as good as this one. Do you know what, like, even though it's not like genius or anything like that, like the only other one I can really think of is like the Hammer one. So it's kind of the same way with that Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's like, oh, do you mean the original or do you mean that really cool one from the 90s?
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be this movie. It's like, oh, Frankenstein. Oh, do you mean like the original or that Guillermo del Toro one? For better or for worse. I think like a lot of the production aspects of this, cinematography, costume design, special effects, yada yada, makeup, the monster looked really good in this, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it did.
I think this is going to be up for a bunch of Oscars, whether it wins it or not. That's up in the air. I think this is kind of this year's Nosferatu, in that it's really well made, but it's not very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I liked Nosferatu last year, but it's not like my new favorite vampire movie, and it's also not Robert Eggers' best movie.
Chris Nolan.
And it's the same deal, and it makes me sad because it's Guillermo del Toro's favorite movie.
Well, and the fact that he said after this that I think now I've accomplished what I wanted to with these monster movies. Now he wants to go into basically what I classify as regular movies, but in 70s style. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, like, I feel like everybody's doing that right now, but okay. But like I said,
I'm excited to see what he does.
I know you were like, I know to me you were like, are you being ironic? But I'm serious. He girl bossed too close to the sun here. He did need somebody. He's usually not this way. He needed somebody there to say, do we need this? I don't think we need this sequence or maybe this subplot or something.
The one thing I'll defend with the Mia Goth thing is that it did kind of save some time, because instead of doing the bride storyline from the novel, he just made Mia Goth kind of the bride stand-in.
Right. Well, no, that...
So I will say, like, take it or leave it. Like, some people are going to like her character in relationship with the Doctor and some aren't. But I do like that probably saved the movie another 30 minutes, because now they're not building like a bride for the monster to fall in love with.
Yeah.
Instead it's like, oh no, they just both loved Mia Goth, and then she, meets an end, which I won't spoil. But I liked this. I didn't love it, but maybe I'm just a sucker for visuals, but I could see myself putting this on if I like felt, and it's not.
It's weird.
It's
a background vibe movie.
Yeah, no, and it's the same way as Nosferatu, because that also I said last year was too long. It was only 2 hours. This is 2.5 hours, but I could see myself putting this on to just like, I don't know, clean my house or like have something on in the background.
Yeah.
Or like, even if I'm just like, I want to watch Frankenstein, but I feel like this one. Like, Guillermo del Toro movies have a like look to them that is not like any other director. And it's the same with this movie. Like, I loved the use of color with the machine and stuff, the red like electricity and things like that. So I don't know. I enjoyed this. I feel like I was the odd man out because a lot of people were hating on this movie.
Which is weird because...
On Letterboxd, it seemed to be doing okay, though, which is interesting. But film critics seem to hate this movie.
Yeah, they didn't like it. But, I was the odd man out, too. I wasn't, as you hear, jazzed about it. And then, like, my friends who I saw it with, they were like, oh, my God, it was so good.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I liked it. I'm not going to say it's a work of genius. I just enjoyed it. I thought it was... I also liked the kind of... There's a theme of, like, generational abuse.
Yeah.
Because one thing I thought was really well done was that Victor Frankenstein did to the monster a lot of the stuff his father did to him.
Right.
and it's like he doesn't notice that he's doing it, but it's like, bro, you're also doing all of this. Like, anyway, I could go on and on. Like, we got to move on, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think we're safe on this one for drinking together.
What was your score?
Oh, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Okay, together. Go on.
This one, body horror that I can recommend for people who do not like body horror. I'm not going to spoil the plot, but it is a great little fable about commitment. You have a man who is afraid to get married with a woman who is tired of waiting to get married. And the opening scene with the two of them is her jokingly proposing to him and him embarrassing her by not doing it. So body horror wise, you have them literally fusing together. And that's just like a really great metaphor for committing to being in a long-term relationship with somebody. And what I will say is that this is not that gross. I genuinely could recommend this to people who do not like body horror. It's not that bad. And it's got a happy ending that is also kind of, there's a bit of a twist that what's going on with them isn't as scary as long as you're truly in love with the other person and are able to push past the scary part of it. So that's all I will say about this one. I was pleasantly surprised, and I liked it way more than I was expecting to, and it's a great date movie. You know, maybe probably for someone you've been dating a little bit longer, if it's a first date movie, they might be thinking that you're trying to, you know, push them into something. But no, like genuinely good body horror movie, not too disgusting. The worst thing I could say about it is that Dave Franco does not know how to act.
Oh my God. I mean,
so 3.5 out of 4. His wife carries him, so he's got that going for it.
Okay, so on to me. Okay, I know we're drinking for this one. Wicked for Good.
Ah, man. Let me find it on my list. We're both drinking. La la la.
Okay, so Wicked for Good. We are seconds after the plot of the first one. So essentially, this is a continuation of the first one. This is based at post the Wicked Witch escaping from Oz. She's been out. She's been doing stuff. She's been making stuff happen. I think this is actually a few years later. And you know, essentially the story is this is basically what happens during the Wizard of Oz, is for lack of a better description of it. This is what's going on with her, what's going on with Glinda, what's going on with Fiera, what's going on with Bach, and then with Nessa Rose, and how all the stuff that kind of led to what happens at the end of the Wizard of Oz. So this one I struggled with as far as rating, because I want to say, because we've talked about this before, it suffers from the same problems as I think the show does. The second act has always felt kind of rushed, overly stuffed, too much happening. And I think you were shocked when I pointed out to you that this, as big as it is, didn't win Best Musical when it came out. And so there was always been some plot problems with the second half of the play, which this one tries to fix. It does to varying degrees success. It adds a couple of songs that I think are unnecessary, like Girl in a Bubble and No Place Like Home. Ariana and Cynthia are great in their roles, you know, i.e. everybody else. I wanted to. Well, this sounds bad. It's just because it's like I don't want to talk a lot about this one because it's been so overexposed at this point. That I wanted to give it a 2, but I said the only reason I was giving it a 2 were for the same reasons that had to do with the source material. So I'm giving it a 3 because still the visuals and the scoring and the costuming are still impeccable. And that's really what you're going to see this one for. It's kind of for the spectacle of it, not necessarily for the story. So I went ahead and I gave it a 3 for those merits alone.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, I don't have strong feelings one way or the other because, like I said last year, I had never seen the musical. So I went in blind intentionally because I kind of wanted to judge it, you know, like, is this good enough to stand on its own? Like, is this just aping off of the, musicals hype, or like, you could watch My Fair Lady, well, Singing in the Rain wasn't a Broadway musical, but like Sound of Music, you could pop the movie and you don't need to know about the Broadway show. You just like, it's just a good musical movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I wanted to judge these on. So after I saw this one, I talked to you about the differences, because I was like, okay, like, what did they change? Because I haven't seen the musical. So you explained it to me. The reception I find so amusing to this one, because I'm kind of like, what did you people expect? Like, the theater kids are like outraged by this one, but it's like, you've seen the musical.
Right.
How did you not know like it was going to do this? Like, I am surprised because I haven't seen this before, but like, how do you not know? Also, like, a lot of people were like hating on this one. Based on what you explained to me that they changed, I think it was kind of for the better, to be honest, because it seemed like they were trying to fix the problems. I did like There's No Place Like Home. I actually wouldn't have been able to guess that was added. Girl in a Bubble, I don't remember, so I'd have to listen to the song again.
Yeah.
But this is not as good as the last one. If anyone remembers last year's drinking game, I gave Wicked a perfect score because I liked it that much. Now seeing this and knowing the history that you've explained to me, I think it was a horrible mistake to split it into two movies. I think you should have made one movie and you should have fixed the problems.
Yeah.
Somehow. Either maybe, change up the way that the scenes play out, maybe jump around in time. I don't know. But splitting it into two movies did not fix the problems. It made one good movie and one not good movie.
Which is, again,
or at least like less good of a movie. I'm with you. I don't think that like it's a complete mess. Like, it looks good, it sounds good. Everything that was good about the first movie carries on over, and some of the surprises, like with what happened to like people like Bach, were interesting to me. So,
like I say, it carries over. Basically, it's the play again. The first act everybody loves. The second act, So that's basically the story with this. And so your score would be
2 out of 4. They shouldn't have split it into two movies. They should have made a 3-hour movie, and they should have fixed the problems.
And put the intermission in. Bring the intermission back.
Exactly. Literally, the Brutalist last year had an intermission. Let's bring those back. If you're going to have a giant, long movie, like, let's make movie theaters classy again. Exactly. Let's have intermissions again. So, yeah, that's my thing. I didn't hate it. Frankly, if I was going to watch these, I'd have to put them back to back, which means a 4-hour screening.
Yep.
But yeah, that's my biggest criticism, is they just should have fixed this, and they should have not split it into two movies. But it's not horrible. So 2 out of 4. Okay, Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, I forgot that even came out this year. But hey,
okay,
to be
safe
fair,
on drinking.
To be fair, I was trying to not do streaming movies this year.
Fair enough. Well, and again, like my caveat with you is just like no more, having like a quarter of your list be like Christmas movies from Hallmark or something. Streaming's fine as long as they're like real movies. You know what Frankenstein is technically a Netflix movie, but it had like theatrical
and
release.
I saw it in the
Happy
theater.
Gilmore 2. Exactly. Happy Gilmore 2 might not have got a theatrical release that I know of, but it's a big enough movie that I counted as like a real movie.
And it had Benny and I think it was Bad Bunny. It had Bad
Bunny. I was going to say it had Bad Bunny.
It had Bad Bunny painting honey on the bare chest of Travis Kelce. I mean, like, could we get any hotter than that?
So this movie hurts because it was funny when it was being original. There's so many callbacks to the original movie.
Oh, okay.
That are not, it's just like, oh, isn't this funny because we're doing the thing from the first movie? Bad Bunny was funny. There's like an ongoing joke where like, Happy Gilmore has like hit a really bad depression, and he's got a drinking problem. So there's like this running joke where he's hiding flasks of liquor in silly places. That was good. It's a mixed bag because, and that too, so like the whole point is like there's this new golf league that has like extreme golf because golf is too boring. So you have Happy Gilmore as like the guy who was like the wild and crazy golfer that got people to watch golf because he was so rude and wacky, and like that was the whole point of the first movie. Is it's like he was popular, like he was a good golfer, but the PGA liked him because he got people to watch golf.
Yeah.
So now you have the full extreme of that, where it's like, no, we have like crazy golf with like, all these crazy hazards, and it's like super golf for ESPN Plus or whatever. And then you have Happy defending old golf. And it's also kind of interesting because he's like a retired athlete. So it's like they have all these cameos from real golfers that are like, oh man, Happy, like, it's so good to see you. It's like, so it's frustrating because it's actually a really well put together sequel, but there's so much just aping off of the first movie. And credit to Bad Bunny, I did not know that was him until after I saw the movie and people were saying that, oh, Bad Bunny was in the movie. And I was like, wait, really? Who was he? Oh, he was the caddy? What? And I think part of that is because he's playing an idiot. So, like, he doesn't look sexy. Like, whenever I see pictures of Bad Bunny, he's, like, got cool facial hair and sunglasses. So, like, I didn't recognize him because he's playing, like, a moron. He doesn't, he looks goofy. But great job. That being said, I wish they had tried to be, like, their own thing instead of just, like, jokes from the first movie. So 2 out of 4, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. Then I've skipped over a couple movies. I want to talk about them later. Rental Family.
Did not see it.
So this is the next Brendan Fraser movie. I talk about it like he has his own extended universe. This was actually a really, really sweet movie. The premise basically is this guy who's an out-of-work actor in Tokyo is hired by this agency, and they like him. So like, hey, just so you know, we do this service where we where we essentially rent out people to do stand-ins when somebody needs like a family member or some serious member of their life or something like this. And it's actually like a really touching sort of like humanist story. You kind of learn different people's humanity and all this sort of stuff. Brendan Fraser was really good in it. I really like this movie. I think it's actually I think it's one of my best rated of the year. I gave it a 3.8 out of 4. Ooh. I really liked it. It got me in the feels, but the feels felt earned. Yeah, it was really good. Like it was very touching to see. I know he was really good in The Whale, and he won an Oscar for The Whale, but it was really touching to see him in kind of a more sentimental sort of film. So really like that.
Heck yeah. I'm interested to see if 3.8 out of 4. We might be drinking on this one. I guess, drum roll, please, everybody. Weapons.
Yes, I actually skipped over it because I wanted you to introduce it.
Woo! Here we go. All right, drink. All right, so I guess I will start off this one.
Go ahead, introduce this for us.
So I mentioned back with Sinners that was my favorite movie for half of the year. As soon as this came out, it dethroned it. It's so satisfying when something that is hyped up and mysterious and interesting sticks the landing. At least for me. We'll see how T feels, but we can't get into the spoilers. There is a character. Again, this is another one of those movies I am assuming most of you listening have already seen. But just for the few that haven't, I'm not going to spoil who the villain is, even though the actress playing that villain is just collecting awards and accolades right now. This is how you do a mystery box plot. because no, if you create a mystery that's really interesting and stuff, like it's tricky because you're not going to satisfy everybody. Hence, that might be tea. I think the reason this film sticks the landing is not because the reveal is genius or anything like that, but because this focuses on people and small stories within this little town. One thing that's really cool, and I was not expecting about this one, is it's divided into chapters and it's told out of order. So this is like the Pulp Fiction of like horror movies.
I wouldn't say they're out of order. They're all kind of happening concurrently.
But because you finish one story and then go back in time to start the other, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. So when this was going on, they were doing this. It creates like almost kind of a puzzle in your brain where you're sort of figuring out when things happened compared to like other characters in the story. So for most of the movie, they just don't even address like what the answer is to the mystery. You know about a spooky house, you know about some weird stuff going on, and the scares in the movie are not based on gore or jump scares. Like, one of the scariest moments in the film to me is when one character is stupidly staking out a house and then they leave their car unlocked. That is like, and so the door to the spooky house opens and a woman wielding a scissors comes out and she's moving super unnaturally.
Yeah.
Like, and she gets into the car. That is so fucking scary. And it's like, just that idea. Like, you don't need to know what's going on with the kids or whatever. Just like, it makes your skin crawl because you don't know what's going on and like all this. And there's all these interconnected relationships. You find out about a police officer who's cheating on his wife with another character, and he's only a police officer because his father-in-law is the chief of police, and he's an alcoholic, which is how he met this character. Like, this is what makes Weapons good. It's like character writing and excellent acting and a great ensemble cast. So I could keep going if I got into the ending. The final chapter is one of the scariest, most heart-wrenching things in any movie this year. It's definitely maybe not on the same level as like Bring Her Back, but just a fun fact for anyone who isn't aware, this film was inspired by the director's experience of having alcoholic parents.
Which, when you watch the movie, that doesn't even track, but okay.
Well, it tracks if you understand that, like, the final chapter is, like, metaphorical for him taking care of his parents.
This is not a spoiler. And the rotating machine gun in the sky.
So that he actually just wrote in because dreams don't make sense. So he was like, it just feels like something that character would see in their dream.
Okay,
so
I love
it's not
that you had
supposed to make any sense.
I love that you had an answer for it. That was wild.
Well, there you go, though. Like, again, he did put thought into it. Like, so the answer, unfortunately, is that there is no answer, but there is no answer because you're in a dream and dreams don't make sense. And frankly, with that very conservative coded character, I could believe that they would dream of a giant.
That is true.
AK, so anyway, but yeah, no, Zach Cregger has already won my film of the year back when he did Barbarian. He did it again this year. I'm just going to say this is my film of the year. And he's off to doing Resident Evil. And I feel like his weird kind of funny but not funny tone in his horror movies is perfect for the Resident Evil franchise. So I'm very excited to see what he does with that. 4 out of 4. Movie of the year for me. What'd you think, T?
Okay, so let me just get right down. Oh my god, where did my list go? Let me just get right down to it. I gave it a 1. So the different stories were interesting, and this is okay. First off, you're gonna hate me for this. I know you are. I gave it a 1 because. And then I know later you're gonna be like, okay, but what about this movie? I'm gonna be like, that's where the silly rabbit blinders come on. That's a movie I will make excuses for. But this one, I really, really, really did not like its bury the gays trope. really did not like that. And the reason why in this particular movie that was such a big issue for me is they're only, as disturbing as this movie is, or is supposed to be, I'll touch on that in a second. There are only 5 deaths in the movie. The first 2 and the most brutal are this couple. And I did not like that they were kind of, because the original script, which was passed around on the internet last year, that was a heterosexual couple. And there's kind of this feeling that he made them this way so that it would be more disturbing. And I don't like diversity used in that way. So that really, really, really bugged me. I mean, there's also stupid choices, like you said, leaving your car unlocked. Problem with I saw it later than other people is there were so many moments in this movie that were supposed to be disturbing or horrifying that had gotten memed to death by the time I saw it. I couldn't take them seriously. And specifically, and this is not a spoiler because it's on the poster, the weird pose that the kids do when they run is supposed to be like emblematic of the napalm girl from the Vietnam War photograph. That's what he wanted people to see. All anyone's gonna remember now is all these people running around their hometowns on TikTok with this weird ass airplane pose. No one's gonna draw parallels to that now. So it was kind of like, because it got as big as it did, it can no longer be perceived as it was intended. Especially with the character of Aunt Gladys. Different stuff about that. Which honestly, I mean, she was fine in the movie. Did not think it was an award-winning performance. But yeah, so that's basically my thoughts.
No, and you know, that's what makes us such great co-hosts, is we got different opinions. I will say, like, so for 2 things,
you could be like my dad and say,
like, one thing that drives me crazy is misinformation online. So, like, your sources about the couple being heterosexual originally,
in the original script, they were.
So I watched an interview with Zach Kreger. He said nothing about the Vietnamese girl. So that's kind of where I'm like, where did you get that information? Because, again, based on all this is my favorite movie of the year. I've been like looking at what the director has been saying about it. He did not say that from what I saw. So I don't know if that was like someone saying he said that or something. But it goes back to like a year ago or so, like before the Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny movie came out. I had a bunch of like extended family members talking about how it's woke trash and how like they're going to replace Indiana Jones with his daughter, who is clearly in the movie because of a script I read on the internet. Which, if you saw Dial of Destiny, that's not his daughter. That did not happen, and they're not planning on replacing him. So, like, your opinions of the movie aren't going to change based on some of the stuff you read on the internet, like you just didn't like the movie. But I will say, something that is becoming increasingly problematic is just people saying shit online based on nothing. And again, like, maybe I'll maybe see if I can find the thing about Zach Kreger saying that the pose is from the Vietnamese girl from that photo, but
look up the screen.
Based on what I saw, he did not say that, so I don't know where you're getting that info.
So I got it from a Screen Rant article, "The Meaning Behind the Mysterious Running Pose and Weapons," published back in August. And they talk about what Zach Kreger wanted, and there's actually a direct quote from him in here. Talking about it. Okay. And I take Screen Rant as a credible source for movie stuff.
I don't read them anymore. They say a lot of incorrect stuff, and frankly, I think Ryan George is the only thing keeping them afloat, and he has broken off into his own content.
That's true.
So again, like maybe he did say that. I'll check it out after recording this. I am curious because I do know what you mean because the pose is kind of similar to that. But Screen Rant, I would not trust. Sorry, Screen Rant.
Well, I'll just say this: if it hadn't had that horrible sequence with the couple, I probably would have rated it as a 2.
I mean, to its credit, And this will be the last thing we say so that we don't go on for 30 minutes about weapons. But I will say, to its credit, I don't see anyone feeling good that they died. I thought it was one of the most horrific sequences. And I liked that couple. They were cute. I liked their little hot dog dinner that they had.
Their Mickey Mouse and Minnie shirts.
It was honestly like they were both likable. Like you say, there's no likable characters in the movie.
That's true.
They were likable.
That's true. I did like the two of them.
Frankly, their death makes me angry. Like I have been.
Did it need to be so gruesome though? Like it kind of went on too long.
I mean, it's. I mean, compared to something like Bring Her Back or something, like it's not. You also have to remember, like, this is a genre that you're not a fan of in general.
That is
like,
true.
Just because like likable characters are murdered does not mean that any of the fans are taking pleasure in it. Sometimes the scene is liked by the community because it's like, oh no, like they did nothing wrong. Why did they? But then it's also like the stupid. Because the principal's smart. The principal's like, why are you at my house? And then his husband is like, oh, come on in. You know? So it's like one of those kind of frustrating, like, stupid decision moments.
Also, why would you ever get close to anybody who has a pair of scissors like that? That's a separate question.
Right. Anyway, so that's how we feel about weapons. It is your turn.
All right. Okay. So now that we got weapons out of the way, I'm backtracking now to... movie Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Yes!
Drink.
Here we go. Drink.
That didn't go down right. Okay, Kiss of the Spider Woman. This is set during Argentina's dirty wars. It takes place in a prison. It's sort of a musical, kind of. I wouldn't really it is kind of, but not really. It's an adaptation of a musical, but I would say the film relegates musical to only certain parts of it. Anyway, the main plot is there's two characters. One of them is being brought into prison, Luis, and he's being imprisoned in a cell with basically like a revolutionary. His name is Valentin. Luis is gay. Valentin is not. They have this sort of just weird bond that they form while they're in prison about it. And Luis, tells stories about seeing movies and what movies meant to him. And so we have these sequences of different movies that he likes, specifically with one actress. And so that's kind of the premise of the movie. This is also in the trial, so I'll say this. Meanwhile, he was put in that cell by... I think it's either by the chief of police or by the prison to try to extract information from Valentin. So that's also going on. So that's basically plot of this movie. This was a fantastic film. Stellar acting, stellar costumes, stellar music. It had its storyline was amazing. We have, the horrors of prison, the horrors of the dirty wars, mixed with this escapism of these magical, think of MGM musicals from the 50s and the 60s and the 40s, these beautiful musicals, and these characters and their bond is also amazing. This was so good. Both actors, Diego Luna and the other one, I cannot pronounce his name. I thought that sounds so bad. The other one.
I think it's funny because it's your favorite character too.
I know. Oh my god. His name.
He's got a weird name. Great actor, but I felt the same because it's just one word too. It's like I don't know if he's is Madonna or something, where it's like I don't know, but I know what you mean.
Tonatia, I think is how it's pronounced his name. And then we had Jennifer Lopez as the great Ingrid Luna, the actress who he talks about in his stories. This was really good. I think that they used the musical and the brightness and the beauty sparingly, but in great moments to kind of also parallel what's going on in the real world. The kind of thing where you're not really sure is this actually a movie he's recounting, or is it? So there was just so much to love about this movie. What did you think? I know basically we kept waiting for, because it didn't come to your theater. It was shafted at the theaters, got a very, very limited release.
This movie was shafted in general.
Yes.
Why? Like, I think it's widely available now. Like, even when I watched it, like, it was on like super high definition, which my laptop didn't have, but like I was able to at least rent it, and it's like, oh, the whatever, it can't reach it. Why was this in theaters for like a week, and then for like 4 months it was like $20 to rent?
Right,
ridiculous.
The day that it went down to like $5.99, I'm like, go, you got to see it now, run.
And I missed it. This was a great movie. Tinfoil is also on my head about it being shafted, because it just doesn't make sense. Like, independent movies, especially these days, it's like if they don't do well, they're just put on streaming immediately for like rental prices.
Right.
So the fact that it was kept away is so strange. Something that you did not bring up in your summary is that this is also kind of a remake,
yes,
which I was not aware of until we were talking about it afterwards.
So
I have not seen.
It's technically an adaptation of a musical adaptation of a movie. That's why I classified it more as an adaptation instead of a remake.
Okay, so the movie was adapted into a stage musical, is what you're saying, and that stage musical is what was adapted. Okay, so we've got a Little Shop of Horrors situation then.
Yes.
So I have not seen the original movie. You enlightened me that it won a bunch of Oscars and it was a big deal in the like late 80s. Never heard of it before. Yeah. This, I feel like I like better. Again, I haven't seen the original movie, but just like I really like the creative idea of that character having this fantasy world when they're in the cell that kind of turns into this animated musical sort of thing. Also, like, I've been listing the movies that I actually thought were really disturbing. So like I mentioned Mickey 17, I mentioned Bring Her Back. One specific scene where a man is like tortured to death and they like bring his corpse up to like the front of the cell was disturbing. Like, yeah. I thought that was like darker than a lot of horror movies I saw this year. So just gonna shout that out. I enjoyed this quite a bit. My only criticism, it kind of goes to what you were saying, where it's like it's not a full musical. I wish it had been. Because I liked the music a lot. I don't think this is going to get any nominations, unfortunately, but it deserves some for Best Song.
Yeah.
The Spider-Woman song that's like kind of the theme of the whole movie.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up from me. I wish there was more musical. I wish there was more spectacle, dancing, songs. That's really my only criticism. Otherwise, I think it's a great little movie. It's set in
Argentina during the Dirty Wars, which I guess that doesn't mean anything to you. Like, when were the Dirty Wars?
How dirty were they?
Oh God.
Were people throwing dookie at each other?
No, but similar stuff is happening now. One of the things about this, because I have seen the original and I have seen this one, is this does fix some of the problematic elements of the original one that has more to do with it being made in the 80s versus now. So like some of that gets fixed, but in a way that doesn't detract from the story. There was sort of a reclassification of certain things, and that's essentially for modern audiences because they wouldn't understand how things were classified back then. And then the last thing is, when I talk about it's not a full musical, in the actual musical there are songs and stuff, sequences that are set in the prison. And while that would have been cool, I do love the concept
The
of
separation.
The separation.
It's
the
like a
grimness.
fantasy world. It's like when it's a musical,
Exactly.
it's in, yeah.
And Luis and Luis says some of my favorite lines in it, and it's like, people don't sing in real life. Well, maybe they should. That's so good. But yeah, and then J-Lo was in this. I think there was some J-Lo hate in here that kind of that had problems with this going out, but she was really good in this. Anyway, I need to move on, but I could not talk about this movie enough. I gave it 4 out of 4 stars. No surprise.
3.5 for me.
You needed more music.
Sweet. All right. Yeah, that's literally 3.5. The only thing keeping it perfect for me is I wish there was more of that. All right, so I think we're safe on drinking for my next one, Caught Stealing.
Caught? I don't even remember this one.
Yeah, so this is Aronofsky's new film. He's on his adaptation arc. A few years ago, he did The Whale, which was based on a stage play, and this one is based on a book. Way better than I was expecting, and way darker than I was expecting. So we have Austin Butler plays a bartender in San Francisco in the 1990s, and he is tasked with watching his next door neighbor's cat. Turns out that cat has some info that some very bad people want, and so they attack him, they beat him up, and they terrorize him for information that he does not have complete access to. So this is a crime thriller, a drama, and my God, is it way darker than the trailer made it look. It looked like it was going to be like an action comedy. You have torture, you have murder, you have a really traumatic car accident, which is why he is, working as a bartender in San Francisco instead of playing Major League Baseball. The title is a kind of nod to his background in baseball. Really
I get
good.
it.
Caught Stealing. So, really good. I think it did fine. It wasn't like a big release or anything like that. But I should have known better with it being Aronofsky. Of course, it's going to be darker than I assumed it would be. But really, that's all I can say. I don't want to spoil anything. Some characters die that you would not expect. Austin Butler does a great job with his performance. Frankly, this made me kind of want to read the book that it's based on. And I like the backdrop that this is during a year in which the Giants won the World Series.
Oh, okay.
So that's like a thing that's happening in the background as the World Series is going on in San Francisco while this is happening. And actually, wait, no. Yeah, the Giants don't win. He's a fan. Who's he a fan of? Maybe he is a San Francisco. It's been a while, and I'm not a baseball historian, so I don't remember. But this is the 90s. I think it was San Francisco who won, but the World Series is happening in the background of the movie. So that's like kind of a theme, baseball in general. So loved this one. Genuinely surprised at how much I liked it. 3.5 out of 4.
Love that. Okay. And I also love that it was kind of one I hadn't heard of too. Cool. Okay, so next one I have is Eternity.
Have not seen it.
I think it's an A24 movie. Essentially what it is when people die, they go to this lobby where they get a week to decide what eternity that they want. And they basically can like wander through this like giant like convention hall of people trying to sell you on the perfect afterlife for different places. Like there's like there's the generic heaven one, there's the there's like the outdoors one, the cabin in the woods one. There's basically whatever your perfect reality would have been, there's an afterlife for that. Our main character dies, played by Miles Teller, and he dies, but he doesn't want to move on until his wife gets there so that he can go and live eternity with her. Well, you can't do that. If you basically you don't get to chill there, it's either you pick an afterlife or you work here. So he's doing that. Meanwhile, he becomes friends with, doesn't realize it at the time, that her first husband, who died in World War II, has been waiting for her too. So when she does show up, there's this competition between the two, sort of just like, who are you going to spend eternity with? You know what? And that's basically the plot of the movie. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was funnier than I thought it was going to be. It is still kind of sad and heart-wrenching in moments, but it had a lot of good comedy. And Elizabeth Olsen, Miles Teller, and some other guy, I don't remember what his name was, are the main characters in it. Really good. I think this is like the first A24 movie in a while that I've been like, yes, okay, maybe they do know what they're doing. Really good. I gave it a 3 out of 4. Definitely would watch again. Had a great time.
Awesome. All right. I know that we're safe on drinking for this next one. Him.
Oh my God. You were like one of the 3 people that saw that.
I went to see this because I need movies to be mean about. And when I saw that nobody liked it, I was like, oh, finally I get to... Because I'm sure everyone's like, oh, whiskey. He's giving 3s and 4s out willy-nilly. This sucked. This sucked so much. I was genuinely like curious if it was going to live up to how much everyone's shitting on it at the time. Man... This director, I don't know if it's like, I think it's his first movie. Wasn't this cool premise? Like the idea of like a football horror movie is kind of a neat idea. And I remember when the trailers were coming out, I thought this looked really neat.
I thought what was interesting about just the premise, just based on the trailer, is like there's so much football that's steeped in like Christianity and stuff like this. So I thought that was a great idea to do a take of a horror film on that.
Well, and you're more religious than me, so I'm sure you picked up on the whole him thing being his infernal majesty. So it's like a satanic reference.
Yep.
So it's disjointed. It's a mess. It's not really that scary, except for a couple of really weird scenes. The main actor he has no charisma. He's a void of charisma. He is a plank of wood. And I will say that Marlon Wayans kind of steals the show. He's at least entertaining. The only reason this isn't a 0 is because he's kind of fun to watch, even though it's like a bad movie. The ending like explains everything, but it's kind of too late. And then the very, very ending is just bizarre. It's a mess. And it's really funny to me. I'm sure you saw this anecdote. Maybe I even sent it to you. Jordan Peele tried to buy weapons. Like, he wanted to be the one releasing weapons, but he lost the bidding war. So the fact that Jordan Peele released him instead of weapons is funny to me. I mean, at least he recognized it was a good movie. But yeah, like 1 out of 4. Awful. Believe the hype. It's as bad as everyone said it was.
The worst part is we finally got our football team. Do you remember the team in the movie?
Yeah, it's the San Antonio
Saviors.
Saints.
Or Saviors, yeah.
Saviors.
And I was like, oh, of course you finally get a football team, and it's in this god-awful movie. Ugh. Moving on. Trash. Awful. Okay. Zootopia 2.
Woo! Yes. Drink!
Still good. Zootopia 2. Continuation. Obviously, in the first Zootopia, except now, I can't even think of what their names are right now. Her and Fox Guy are like...
We got Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps.
Judy Hopps. Judy and Nick are now... Well, Judy's always been a cop, but now Nick's a cop too. Their problem is they do everything the way that they want to do versus by the book, etc., etc. And so... But once again, they get the chance to prove themselves in this other thing that's going on with these heists that have been going on with this snake. And that's basically kind of what the premise is. they go off and search for this, and kind of have their own on the run sort of moments to try to solve this case. I really liked it. And again, I remember I was surprised at how much I liked the first Zootopia too. Zootopia is just kind of a world I want to live in, and Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps are just they're such human characters that have such human problems that, I don't know. I really like them. Now, the weird thing though is
it's kind of funny that the whole Zootopia franchise is all based on like race relations,
right? And I think that's what
because like the first movie it was predator and prey, and then this one it's like, oh, we hate all reptiles. So that's kind of a funny thing.
I mean, it was a little on the nose, and like that's why they stay on their continent. And I was like, oh my god. Did we really just say that?
Right.
No, but I think that's kind of what makes the Zootopia franchise so good, is it really does take these issues and kind of puts them on a playing field that younger people or people who are not as in depth into like think pieces and theses on this stuff can really understand. And
did you see who played Gary? Did you see who played Gary DeSnake?
Who played it?
Ke Huy Quan, same guy from what was the action comedy thing that you it's Short Round.
Oh, that was Short Round? I'm sorry.
That was Short Round. The whole movie
from Love Hurts, yeah.
The whole movie, I was like, why does his voice sound familiar? And then after the movie, well, actually not even. I just read the credits and I was like, wait, Ke Huy Quan, it's fucking Short Round.
I feel so bad. He had to talk with a lisp for most of the movie because one of his teeth were missing.
I mean, it works. He's a snake after all. So
there was so much about race relations and the concept of whitewashing and all that sort of stuff that really was put into a level that a lot of people can understand if they're willing to look. And so that's really good. But they make it entertaining. I never was like, this is too on the nose, or I'm being beat over the head with this metaphor.
For my commentary, I'm going to go right ahead and say 3.5 out of 4 for me. And my only problem is that you can see the villain coming from a mile away. They do the whole surprise villain thing from the first movie.
Yeah.
Except this one is so obvious. I'm sure you felt the same way. Instead, I'm going to tell you a story that I bet you didn't hear that it's really funny. So,
is it about the weird people
Zootopia
who are fetishizing Nick Wilde?
I mean, that's always been a thing. No, but so Zootopia is insanely popular in China.
Really?
Zootopia 2 is like the third highest grossing film of the year, like globally, because China loves it so much as well. Who knows why? They just, whatever. Zootopia 1 and 2 went over super well in China. So you remember years and years ago, because of Finding Nemo, they were buying, little kids wanted clownfish or Dory. So the same thing is currently happening in China with Thai pit vipers, because that's the type of snake. So they're buying deadly snakes, and they're blue as well, just like Gary is. Like, I thought they just made him that color because it looked cool. Apparently, he is literally a Thai pit viper, because, they're blue. So a bunch of Chinese people have been buying this snake that could kill them in one bite just because of Zootopia 2. So, don't do that, by the way. I don't think we have any listeners in China, but it's
just in case, don't do that.
It's because it's a dangerous animal. It's such a funny story to me. I hope everyone's okay over there. Oh my God.
That is wild.
But, so yeah, that's what I'll use my commentary for. 3.5 out of 4. Only problem is I could see the villain coming from a mile away. But everything T said, great movie. Loved the first Zootopia as well.
Awesome. Your turn.
All right, one battle after another.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to pass.
All right, I think this is the last one I'm going to say was one of the most disturbing movies I saw, although it took a while before that really sunk in. The last hour when you find out what's really going on with Leo's daughter and why she's kidnapped is hard to swallow. It's really good. It's very strange. It's a countercultural kind of guerrilla warfare kind of thing. that turns into like a kidnapping plot with like a daddy and daughter. And for the first time in a while, Leo is played like a likable character. I think the last time he did was like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But it was just like really heartbreaking because he's fried out, like his brain is ruined from just drug abuse, and he really wants to save his daughter, but he just is not the revolutionary soldier he was 2 decades before. The filmmaking is spectacular. This is definitely one of the best films of the year. I think it has a chance of winning Best Picture. And I think it's going to be, like it already was. It was also up for a bunch of Golden Globes.
Right.
I don't know if it won anything because I haven't watched the Golden Globes, but it's going to be up for a bunch of Oscars as well. It is not my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, but it's because he made it. It's really well made.
Now, this is one I wanted to see. This is one of the ones that like the runtime scared me off because it's a longer movie, and I was like,
it is.
do I want to sit there for this long and not even sure if I'm gonna like it?
Stream it when you can. It's one of those where I actually do think like the cinema experience does heighten it.
Okay.
There's a car chase kind of towards the end that's very, very like epic, but not in like an annoying way. So definitely check it out. It like the runtime, it kind of feels its length sort of towards the end. It's one of those movies where you think it ended and then it keeps going for a little bit longer, but not in an annoying way.
Right.
But yeah, it's also just a very topical movie that happened to come out in a year where it is very important. There's a lot of white supremacists murdering people. It's just it's a lot. But it's also like done like there's this one secret society that's kind of played up for laughs. The Christmas, like they are a white supremacist group, but it's like almost absurd the level of like control they have, and their little catchphrase is "Hail Santa," because like they're the Christmas Society or whatever. So it's weird. It's kind of tonally inconsistent. I think that's something I could sort of say about it. It's not really like just an action movie or just funny or just disturbing. I do really like Sean Penn's portrayal of the villain. He is very comical, and it's great. He's kind of mocking sort of that ultra masculine like soldier guy. A friend of mine two friends of mine, one who is a college professor made a joke on Letterboxd about his walk, and then a second friend who recently watched it and who sometimes listens to the podcast. So hi, Alyssa, if you're listening. But she said that he looked like he had a butt plug in constantly.
Oh my God.
And he does get pegged at part of the movie. So she kind of was like, well, maybe that's sort of a joke, like, oh,
who's Sean Penn's
got
character?
pegged once. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was sort of the thing where it's like, oh, maybe he enjoyed it and like kept a butt plug in his butt or something. So I like that theory. But anyway, yeah, really good movie. Not my favorite, but 3.5 out of 4.
Awesome. Okay, so then I saw Ella McKay. This one did not do well and was not well received. Essentially, the plot of it is that Ella is the lieutenant governor of some nameless state. They don't tell us, but it looks like it's somewhere in the Northeast based on the way everything looks. And she gets promoted to governor when the current governor gets promoted or gets appointed to somebody's cabinet or something. So this is basically her 2-week run as governor. Stuff happens. There's lots going on, turmoil that she has to deal with on the side. Also will take on this job with her younger brother, who is basically a shut-in, and then her father, who I think he didn't abandon the family, but he like moved out when they were younger. Basically, this is her dealing with all that, and then with this new job also, and she's kind of trying to like just her whole thing is she tries to keep the peace with people, but she's also trying to do what she needs to do. It was not well received, and I'm not sure why. Like it was like people were saying it was bad. Like I think it's okay. It's not the next best picture, but I don't understand where the outpouring of hate came from for it. It's James L. Brooks. He did The Simpsons, Mary Tyler Moore, all that fun stuff. It's his first movie he's done in a while. I thought it was.
Well, he did Edge of 17. Come on,
Oh,
he did
that's
that.
right.
He did Terms of Endearment.
I forgot he did Edge of 17. This is kind of like I thought it was okay. Like it's not like one that I'm dying to see again, but it's one I definitely have on. I didn't get the hate that it had for it. Jamie Lee Curtis was really good in it. I gave it a 2.5 out of 4. I thought it was enjoyable. I think some people might find it boring, but it's kind of this is one that really is just depends on what your taste in movies is. But I didn't really see anything to actively hate about it. I guess some people had an issue with its portrayal of politics or whatever, but I'm like that's not the main part of the movie. So that was just me.
So one thing I will always say is a red flag is if in a trailer they're just constantly showing accolades like best movie of the year, blah blah blah. That's such a warning that it's probably not that good. And I will say, like, I haven't seen the film, you liked it, but I will say that was something when I saw the trailers for this movie. It was just like every 2 seconds, just like a blurb about like, this is the greatest film of all time.
Oh, okay.
So my guess is maybe some of the hatred is like people who were like put off, like they saw that and then they didn't like the movie. And so they like reacted really strongly in the opposite direction or something. I haven't seen it. I'll honestly probably check it out just because you said you liked it, because James L. Brooks,
yeah,
he does good movies.
But yeah, 2.5 out of 4.
We might be drinking on this one. Shelby Oaks.
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
Okay. So, okay.
Look, I got stuff to say.
I'm not going to be mean because I like Chris Stuckman. He's one of the nicest film critics ever. That's kind of the meanest thing I would... Like, my joke with Chris Stuckman is if it gets like an 8 out of 10, it's the worst film of the year. Because he's so generous with his scoring. Like, if he gives it a bad score, that movie is cancer. Like, you need to run away from it. So, like, he's such a nice guy. He's got a really interesting backstory. He was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, so, like, his family's essentially disowned him because he's really into, like, anime and movies and stuff like that. But he's a very successful YouTuber. He's a film critic. He makes, like, short films. So this was sort of a Cinderella story. And I remember, like, it was funny, when I went to see this, I completely forgot. I totally saw the first like 15 minutes of this movie years ago because he released it as sort of a promotional short film for the film. Because he's been working on this for years. Like it's been like a passion project feature for him. And Mike Flanagan decided to produce it and threw in a bunch of money for him and, helped him finish the movie. And what I think was really cool is that first 15 minutes is the same short film that I'm pretty sure you can find on YouTube, maybe on his channel. And then as soon as the big scary jump scare murder happens, it just transitions into like a full feature like Hollywood film. Cool transition into like what you shot versus what the movie is.
Right.
If you like paranormal horror from like the mid 2000s, this will be your jam. It feels really dated, and that's the meanest thing I can say about it. But it's fine. Like I'm very excited to see what he does going beyond this, because this feels like something he wrote when he was like 16, and I will say, like, he as a YouTuber, this was like the main character who went missing is a YouTuber, and she ran a ghost hunting channel on YouTube called Paranormal Paranoids. Some people were critical, like saying the name is cringe, and that's true, but I mean, what name isn't cringe on YouTube?
Right.
Like, I buy that some stupid kids would come up with a YouTube channel and call it Paranormal Paranoids. So cringe or not, like, I buy that. But usually when you have like Hollywood suits trying to like put YouTube in a movie, it feels really out of touch. He knows what he's talking about because he is a YouTuber. So that aspect of the movie, I think, is better than most films. There's some lore. There's a whole thing about the... Not a succubus. What's the opposite
Incubus.
of that? A incubus that's like in the film. It's fine. It's not genius. It's not high art or anything, but it's cool that he finally made it. So 2 out of 4 from me. Good job, Chris. Hope your next one's better.
I had a friend of mine. He hated it.
Not in a mean way.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on. So this will be the last of my movies, unless I suddenly remember something. Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Nope.
Electric Boogaloo.
Didn't watch it, so we're safe as far as drinking goes.
So Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Basically, this deals with the original location. We learned the one from the first movie wasn't the original location. It was like a franchise. This is like the original location where everything started at. And the little girl from the first movie, she feels drawn to her. She calls them friends again. Josh Hutcherson's looking after her. So that's going on, and we have it's hard for me to describe this movie without getting to spoilers really quick. Basically they go and there's stuff happening at this other location that they have to get involved with. Probably one of the most gruesome deaths I'd seen in a PG-13 movie. And it's with that guy from Space Jam too. I forget what his name is. He was also in Jurassic Park.
I know what you mean. It's Newman from Seinfeld.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So this one had a bomb score. Like, I still listen to it, and I love that it had an overture. Not a long one, but just enough that I'm like, this is an overture. But I was kind of disappointed with the story. I know some people will argue, well, there's really not much story there. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. The first one was good for fans of the franchise. This one, I was not. Basically, what this boils down to is I hated the little girl in this movie. I did not hate her in the first movie. I hated her in this one, much to the same level that I hated that girl in Fallen Kingdom. Similar levels of hatred. And that's all I can comment on that without spoiling anything. But stuff happens, things happen, of course they're able to, get through it. It could have been better. It really could have been better. And I feel like there's enough lore in the franchise where they could make a good movie and still keep it PG-13, which I appreciate. But I just feel like Blumhouse is banking too much on it just being a Five Nights at Freddy's movie to bring people in, and they're not trying.
I have not seen this, but I've heard that fans thought it was pretty bad. Although on Rotten Tomatoes it has like an 80%. I think the problem is that Scott Cawthon wrote this, and he's not a screenwriter.
Interesting. Okay.
So unlike the first one, he advised on it, but they had a screenwriter write the movie. But in this one, Scott Cawthon was just like, he was the screenwriter, free reign to do it. Just because you know how to make a video game does not mean you know how to write a movie, or about pacing or character development. And frankly, Five Nights at Freddy's was very cryptic. Yeah. So he didn't no offense to him, he didn't really write those games either, because it was all just stuff for you to discover in the background. Yeah. So I have not seen the movie, but knowing that he is the guy who wrote it, and knowing that a lot of people think this one is significantly worse than the first one, I'd say don't let him write anymore. He can advise, He can tell you like the lore bits or whatever, but have someone who knows what they're doing write it.
I will send you though the openings, the main title song or the overall theme for the movie, the soundtrack, because it's pretty bomb though. Their music person knows what's up.
I'd be down.
On to you.
All right, so.
Oh wait, did I say what it was?
So on to me. So I am going to like marathon, just go through yapping
really quick. I gave the last.
Be real
one.
quick because I've got quite a few. Okay, so Begonia, Yorgos Lanthimos' new film. Sounds like it was adapted from like a Korean film. Didn't look into that. Very, very hard to watch as far as like, you know, there was like a discourse on this that could be a whole episode of this podcast. Some people really need to like remind themselves that movies are not real and that Emma Stone is not actually getting tortured. So this does have a lot to say about class and other thing. Like it's so basically the premise is that a crazy person thinks that Emma Stone is an alien, and she's like the CEO of a company that had some questionable things have happened to his mother on behalf of the company. So it's kind of like, is he crazy? Does he believe that she's an alien because of what happened to his mother? Like, is she like... It's a very intense, absurd situation, and the ending is insane. And I think because of the ending, this is probably going to get some nominations for art direction and set design. But I cannot give away very much because it is a hard movie to talk about in general without spoiling, and it's a hard movie to talk about while you're spoiling.
Right.
So I enjoyed it quite a bit. It is a hard watch if you don't like watching like uncomfortable or intense things. There's also some situations with child molestation at one point, so that's a whole theme. I will also say kudos to hiring an autistic actor to play an autistic character.
Yay.
Very cool. That actor was also featured on Teen Vogue very recently, so he's blown up. Great job. So I enjoyed this quite a bit. 3.5 out of 4. So up next, House of Dynamite. We've got Catherine Bigelow's new political war drama. Basic premise, some nukes are headed for the U.S. Oh my god. Let's follow the perspectives of a couple of different characters and then, you know, rewind and do the same thing over and over again. I think that if she hadn't directed this, it would have been really boring. That being said, it still was really boring. This is her bread and butter. Like, you know, Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30. Like, she does these kinds of movies, and she's very good at it. That being said, this is a movie where it's people talking in a room, and it is. Frankly, we might be living through this in the next year or two, so let's hope not. But I think she did a good job salvaging this film from being complete garbage, but it's still okay. So 2 out of 4. Predator Badlands.
Oh, that came out this year.
This was awesome. Man, Disney has been just on a roll with their Fox properties, not just with Marvel. Alien Romulus last year was awesome. This is in the same note. What's crazy is this turned out to be kind of a bit of a commentary on toxic masculinity.
Interesting.
I guess you could say. It's really good. It's good, dumb action. It's PG-13, but that's because all of the humanoid characters are synths. So the Predator is free to just chop them into shreds because they're not real people, so it's not going to factor into the rating because they bleed. So it's if you're like, oh, it's PG-13, the violence isn't going to be good. Not the case. Really like interesting choices with like, you know, the main character's a Predator, so anytime he talks, it's in subtitles. Elle Fanning was really good as his sidekick. Just great. Like it is just like a fun action movie, but it succeeds as that. One of the funnest movies I saw this year. Not super deep, but again, it's kind of like, what is real strength? What is real, like, I say masculinity, but strength is kind of more what the movie goes for. The way that the Predators are culturally is something that is very, similar to how, like, the worst kinds of men you can think of what strength is.
Right.
And there is a good pushback to that. So really good. 3.5 out of 4. Keeper. So this is Osgood Perkins' other horror film. Critics hated this one, and I was kind of on the fence. It's not bad. It's a mess in the first, like, let me put it this way. The last 20 minutes is amazing. I can't explain what my favorite part of the movie is without spoilers. I guess I'll say creature design. But it is a folk horror. It's a slow burn. And I think that if it had been tweaked in the editing, the critics would have liked it better. But I didn't hate it. It was just very, like, disjointed for most of it. And some of the performances were kind of off. I should have written her name down, and I'm surprised I didn't. So it's the same actress from The Monkey who played the main character's mother, and she does a really good job. So that's all I'll say about Keeper. 2.5 out of 4. Wake Up Dead Man. So something that has been bothering me for the last couple of years is that I had not seen Knives Out or Glass Onion.
Oh, but you got to see this one.
And with this coming out, yeah, so with this coming out, I was like, no, I'm going to watch both of those and then this one. And I don't know what the other people who watch those movies think, but this is my personal favorite. I kind of like how Rian Johnson just sort of uses these movies as his way to, like, vent about political topics. The first movie was about immigration. The second movie was about, like, tech billionaires.
Right.
And then this one's about religion. So he's doing that again. I think it's also funny now that I've seen all 3 movies that I was able to guess the killer in all 3. He definitely seems to think that he's very clever. Like, he just... Clearly, Rian Johnson thinks he's the smartest man in the room.
Yeah,
but I was able to guess the killers in all 3. Yeah. But I like Benoit. He's a fun character, and his dramatic, like, reveals at the end of the films are always really fun. It's weird how Knives Out, he's, like, hardly in the movie, though. But anyway, like, it's a fun little, like, sleuth character. This one was my personal favorite. That's just kind of my subjective opinion. So I gave it a 3 out of 4.
Okay.
Avatar, Fire and Ash. This one was critically panned. I think it's the best out of the 3 that have been released so far. There's interesting things going on. You've got evil Na'vi. You've got, you've just got more stuff going on. I could keep going. I don't want this episode to go on much longer. I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
I always go to the Avatar movies just kind of out of respect for the industry and James Cameron's, like, he always advances the technology. So even though I'm not an Avatar fan, it's just like, I should go. I should, watch it in 3D as expected and all this other stuff. But I was pleasantly surprised this time. I really liked this one. I'm kind of excited to see where the next 2 go, and I hope that he survives long enough to be able to direct them. And finally, Marty Supreme. Marty's a piece of shit, and there's a lot of discourse going into him
I'm going to
being
take a
piece
shot
of shit.
just for that line.
Just for me saying he's a piece of
Yeah.
shit?
Because I think more people need to hear
Fair
it.
enough. Yeah, well, here's my thing. It annoys me when people say, like, because a character is a certain way that, like, reflects on the movie. You were telling me, like, some young men are... Well, I don't even know if young men even are. That's just kind of a thing people are, like, talking about. If you look up to Marty Mauser as a role model, you are an idiot. What makes this movie great is that it's very suspenseful, and it's very... it's the same kind of thing if you watch cringe videos because you enjoy them. This man is ruining his life. And you see it happening in real time, and it's just like suspenseful and tense, and and some people are not going to like that. But it's the same thing as like Uncut Gems. It's just watching this person make the wrong decision over and over again. Timothée Chalamet is really good in the role. I personally like him in some other stuff, but he does like, I don't think he's played a piece of shit like this in the past, so he's good at transforming into that. Last year, he was Bob Dylan. I thought his performance in that was Oscar-worthy. He got the nomination. I think he's going to get nominated for this. It sounds like he already won the Golden Globe.
And there is lots of online discourse about that.
Well, as I said at the beginning of this episode, because he won the Golden Globe, I think that means Michael B. Jordan is going to win the Oscar.
I hope
so. That'll be my prediction. But anyway, I enjoyed this a lot. Separate Marty Mauser's behavior from the content of the story. And
but
if
it's
you don't
the
like
most
watching
inspirational sports movie of our time, according to Variety.
Oh, and I should bring that up again. This is the other movie that A24 should fire their marketing team, because this made me think that I was going to see an inspirational sports movie, and then when I watched it, I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I was like, oh, okay, this is just Uncut Gems again. but with a ping pong player, and instead of being a gambling addict, he's just an insufferable narcissist. So with all that being said, it's still a great movie. 4 out of 4 for me. I actually do think this is one of the best ones of the year. But what do you guys think? Do you think T needs to watch more movies? Do you think I'm too nice? Leave some notes down in the comments. Sorry, this is running long again. This is just how it is every year. But hopefully this is
And before we go, what is our movie of the year?
Weapons. I said it already. I'm guessing. I think I know what yours is, but say it.
Mine is Kiss of the Spider-Woman.
I knew it, and I love that we actually talked about them back to back. I don't know if you caught that. I talked about Weapons, and we went into Kiss of the Spider-Woman. But, yes, what are your movies of the year? Leave it down in the comments if you're listening to this on YouTube Music. If you're just getting into the show, check out our backlog. I know we have a bunch of new subscribers on YouTube Music, so welcome, guys. We've got more episodes coming, a bit of a break for Christmas, so sorry about that gap, but we should be right on into it. We're planning on recording our Lonely Hearts Club episodes very soon. So thank you for joining us. I've been Whiskey.
I've been Sweet Tea.
Keeping it Kino.
And suck it, Scorsese.
See you next time, guys, for Crazy Couples coming at you very soon. Bye.
Bye. Reels on the Rocks is a production of La Prince Laboratories. It is edited and produced by Alejandro Castillo and programmed by Jamie King. Original music is provided by Pat Mars, and original artwork by Asa Esparza.